Chapter 894. Chapter 894. The disturbed monster. Everyone suddenly felt a little tense. At this moment, what appeared in their minds was the scene of Yi Shiwen blowing up Ying just now. He was not a kind Samaritan, but a peerless, murderous person. Whoever underestimated him would inevitably suffer a terrible loss in his hands. Just look at Ying. It was apparent Yi Shiwen was not a soft-hearted person. Those who underestimated him would suffer terribly. At this time, everyone was thinking about whether to seize Yi Shiwen together. Although they were aware that they were not Yi Ziwen's opponent, they still felt that they had odds of winning if they went up together, especially with Yao Qian and Qi Dong. If Yi Shiwen agreed to give up the remaining flame essence that might be spitting out later, they would be willing to give up. Yi Shiwen noticed that they stopped speaking. He didn't speak either. Instead, he activated the Phoenix regeneration technique in secret to restore the vital energy and blood consumed by the Star Beast Phantom just now. After a while, Yi Ziwen's face became ruddy again. His body had returned to the peak state. At this time, even if they collectively attacked Yi Shiwen, he was not afraid. As for asking him to take out what he got, it would be simply impossible. If he was just an ordinary Transcendent Realm second level, would they give him a share? It was apparent that it would be impossible to. Whoever had the bigger fist set the rules. The most important thing was that Yi Shiwen was not related to them in any way. Why would he give these flame essences to them? Everyone looked at Yao Qian and Qi Dong. Besides Yi Shiwen, Yao Qian and Qi Dong had the highest cultivation among the people here. If they both took a move, then everyone would follow suit. If the two of them held themselves in, everyone would naturally have no guts to do it. While everyone was still hesitating, amidst the boundless flames of the fire's spiritual pool, there was a furious roar. Unparalleled sword. How dare you? A fantastic sword aura split the flame immediately after that, and then a figure rushed out of the flame. Everyone looked intently. It was none other than Unparalleled Sword. He seemed to be carrying something in his hand. He stepped on the rainbow manifested with his sword and dashed directly out of the hall. Seeing the Unparalleled Sword's appearance, everyone was shocked with no time to figure out the reasons. The entire fire spiritual pool seemed to be boiling, setting off monstrous heat waves. Deafening roars came from underneath. Then, another water wave surged to the sky, separating the flames. A figure jumped out of it. It was none other than Crown Prince Crocodile. Unparalleled Sword and Crown Prince Crocodile rushed into the Holy Realm Dweller's mansion before anyone else. Everyone hadn't seen where the two went. It was a bit strange at first, but the reason seemed more evident at this moment. Before they diverged their attention to Crown Prince Crocodile and Unparalleled Sword, the flame boiled again. A tremendous roar of undead came from it. Then another huge figure jumped out of it. It was a towering, burning corpse. Its eyes glimmered like two ghastly green fires. Its mouth was breathing fire. It chased directly in the direction of Crown Prince Crocodile. Yi Shiwen was shocked. He didn't expect that there was such a towering, burning corpse hidden inside. Judging its level, the burning corpse would be no less than the Transcendent Realm 9th level. He was drenched with cold sweat immediately. Crown Prince Crocodile was in a sorry state. There were bloodstains all over his body. Bones were visible on the badly mutilated wounds. Worse still, there was a terrible tear. Crown Prince Crocodile appeared miserable. The crowd had never witnessed him in this state. The crowd's impression of Crown Prince Crocodile had always been arrogant and overbearing. They never encountered a wounded Crown Prince Crocodile before. Adding up to the sorry state, Crown Prince Crocodile was fleeing like crazy. Almost subconsciously, everyone started to flee madly. Perhaps many people did not have the time to assess the burning corpse's level, but they recognized that escaping would be the uppermost priority. A monster, which Crown Prince Crocodile had to flee in a sorry state, was not something they could contend with. Damn, Unparalleled Sword. I swear I will get my revenge. Crown Prince Crocodile yelled again. Apparently, he either suffered a loss in Unparalleled Sword's hands or both Unparalleled Sword and this burning corpse. This should be the very reason for his sorry state. At this moment, he saw the burning corpse behind him approaching, and his eyes flickered. Damn beast. As his hands grabbed towards both sides, it formed a suction force immediately and caught the fleeing experts on both sides. Yi Shiwen felt the suction sucking him in. He didn't even have time to react and was sucked toward it. But then, he discovered that not only him, but Crown Prince Crocodile had been grabbing people over to him. Those who were initially behind the burning corpse rushed toward Crown Prince Crocodile. Then, Crown Prince Crocodile turned his hands directly, throwing these people toward the burning corpse. Everyone immediately understood that Crown Prince Crocodile wanted to use them as a shield to stop the burning corpse. Immediately, the victims shouted and cursed as if they wanted to condemn Crown Prince Crocodile to death. But Crown Prince Crocodile was unfazed. He escaped farther and farther. No matter how the crowd scolded, Crown Prince Crocodile had achieved his purpose to slow down the burning corpse. Puff! The burning corpse faced an oncoming warrior, opened its claws, and directly tore the warrior in half on the spot. The Transcendent Realm 5th level expert was fragile like tofu in the face of the burning corpse. The warrior was outmatched. The blood made the burning corpse even more violent and irritable. It absorbed the blood essence from the torn-apart warrior. Everyone was terrified. They were helpless. Some warriors, who were bolder, attacked the burning corpse directly, but they couldn't withstand one blow from the burning corpse. Likewise, they were torn apart too. Ah! Then there was a sharp cry. Yi Shiwen turned his head and noticed that the burning corpse slammed its devastating palm on Yao Qian. The burnt mark on her chest was vile. Her figure was blown away, flying toward Yi Shiwen. Behind her, the burning corpse also followed closely. Yi Shiwen, hurry up. You won't be able to flee if you hesitate. Yi Mo quickly reminded aloud. In front of this terrifying burning corpse, Yi Shiwen would not survive at all. The most important thing was that Yi Shiwen did not know how strong the burning corpse was when he was alive. Yi Shiwen was way out of his opponent's league. Yi Shiwen gritted his teeth, looked at Yao Qian, and flew back directly. Pa! Yao Qian flew directly into Yi Ziwen's arms. A massive force struck Yi Shiwen directly through Yao Qian's body. Yi Shiwen had directly retreated for more than 100 meters before he could regain stability. It was conceivable how heavy the impact was. Thank you, Yao Qian said feebly. In dangerous times, only Yi Shiwen came out to help her. Everyone else was running for their lives. Who would care about her? She might be the center of attention with her beauty. Sadly, no one bothered with her anymore. No matter how beautiful she was, the others would regard their life much more important. No thanks, you helped me once in front of the auction house. Where even now? Yi Shiwen embraced Yao Qian and flapped his storm wings instantly. He dashed immediately out of the hall. Yi Shiwen was someone who remembered grudges and favors. He would appreciate those who helped him and retaliate against those who bared their fangs to him. Asterisk roar. Asterisk the burning corpse behind him accelerated, putting Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian as its target. Yi Shiwen fanned the storm wings behind him relentlessly. Immediately, the sound of the storm permeated the area. The storm power directly slammed on the burning corpse. However, it could only slightly hinder the burning corpse's movement, slowing down its speed. It could not stop it from approaching. For an undead, Yi Ziwen's storm power was just a tickle. Since Yi Shiwen was carrying a person as he cruised forward, he could not accelerate his speed any further. On the contrary, this burning corpse was like the fish swimming in water. It had a higher cultivation realm as compared to Yi Shiwen. With its superb speed, its distance to Yi Shiwen became shorter and shorter. Yi Shiwen felt unjust. Unparalleled sword and crown Prince Crocodile disturbed something to come out. What did they get under the fire's spiritual pool, which caused this monster to chase after him? What was even more disgusting was that Crown Prince Crocodile used him and Yao Qian as a shield. Since it had already come to this, complaining further would not help. Escape was of paramount importance. Asterisk roar. Asterisk the burning corpse realized that Yi Shiwen was about to escape from its grasp. It was enraged. It roared and launched its ghostly claw toward Yi Shiwen. Chapter 895. Chapter 895. A duel against Crown Prince Crocodile. Boom. That ghost claw caught directly on Yi Xiwen's back. The scratch was as heavy metal. Yi Xiwen suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and a terrible blow hit him severely. The blood gushed to the sky. His figure staggered and fell to the ground. "Are you okay?" Yao Qian asked feebly. At this time, she also had a pale face and asked weakly. Her beautiful eyes, looking at Yi Xiwen, were gleaming. How did he manage to achieve this? When everyone gave up on her, this person who had only met her once turned around and came back to save her. When she thought that her life might end here, Yi Xiwen managed to keep their life hanging. Is it just because of my help in front of the auction? For her, it was a piece of cake. She only hoped that the people unparalleled sword valued, and the people he protected would not be killed. That was all. It was not a big deal. If it were her, she would not be able to go to this extent. "I'm fine." Yi Xiwen grinned. Blood kept flowing down into the collar, making him look amusing. "Pssch." Yao Qian couldn't help but chuckle. She trembled a little in Yi Xiwen's arms. It seemed she had torn her wounds slightly. She couldn't help but cough. Yi Xiwen was somewhat dumbfounded. "What are you doing?" "We're running for life, miss." "Be serious." But at this time, he couldn't care less. Utilizing the heavy impact, Yi Xiwen flew for hundreds of meters, temporarily escaping from the grasp of the burning corpse behind him. Behind him were still the warrior's agonizing screams. Yi Xiwen felt somewhat helpless. He quickly took advantage of the timing to fly out of the palace. There were still a few powerful burning corpses guarding outside. Yi Xiwen still had to be cautious. If there were no way to break through the burning corpse group quickly, it would still be a dead end. The burning corpse behind was getting closer and closer. "Damn it, it's all or nothing." Yi Xiwen roared, cursing in foul language. He extracted the emergence immortal exterminating saber from Tianyuan Mirror, a martial instrument which he had not conquered. In the worst scenario, he would use emergence immortal exterminating saber to make his way out. It would be a massive toll for him to wield the emergence immortal exterminating saber, rendering him unable to utilize his other tricks. Worse still, he was still fatally injured. Emergence immortal exterminating saber was a double-edged sword for him, which would bring harm to him. Sadly, he had no other options at this time. It's now or never. There is still a way out. Yi Xiwen was so fast that he had rushed to the palace gate. Crown Prince Crocodile just eliminated the toughest burning corpse among the group at Transcendent Realm 8th level. For Crown Prince Crocodile, it should have been an effortless task. However, it was a little strenuous. He was seriously injured previously. At this time, there was almost no way. Since he could still eradicate the Transcendent Realm 8th level's burning corpse, it portrayed his profound combat prowess. "Brat, you're not dead yet." The Crown Prince Crocodile sneered and looked at Yi Xiwen with murderous intent flashed in his eyes. In his eyes, Yi Xiwen was like a pest. He could not eliminate it no matter what. Yi Xiwen managed to escape every time. What surprised him more was that Yi Xiwen ascended to Transcendent Realm 2nd level from the half-step Transcendent Realm in such a short period. Even by the standards of the genius, it was too fast. He would not regard Yi Xiwen as a threat because Yi Xiwen was not qualified yet. However, it irritated him. As long as Yi Xiwen is alive, it felt disgusting to him. "Thanks to you, I live longer than you." Yi Xiwen grinned, forcibly suppressing the injuries on his body. His expression turned serious. This would be a bloody battle, a tough battle, or even a hopeless fight. He clenched the emergence immortal exterminating saber in his hand secretly. In his peak state, he had the confidence to escape from Crown Prince Crocodile. However, he was seriously injured while under pursuit from the back. It was a dead end with no other way around it. It was his second life and death decision after he came to the ancient Baron's continent. "Stubborn fellow. It's fine though. I will eliminate you." Crown Prince Crocodile sneered. He regarded Yi Xiwen's words as stubborn rather than threatening. After all, Yi Xiwen's sorry state was apparent too. "I have no other options. It's a fight to the death." Yi Xiwen gritted his teeth. He heard the roar of the burning corpse getting closer and closer behind him. There were also 4 burning corpses surrounding the Crown Prince Crocodile. Being intimidated by Crown Prince Crocodile, they encircled in a distance. Chong! On emergence, immortal exterminating saber. Endless saber lights swept up in an instant. At this moment, Yi Shiwen was almost like an ancient overlord rebirth, surrounded by a golden light. A song that belonged to Holy Realm dwellers was sung. It came from Emergence, immortal exterminating saber. If one were to listen carefully, it was not a blessing from Holy Realm dwellers at all, but a grudge. It was the Holy Realm dwellers' curse. It was a terrifying curse where the effect came from within. The terrifying saber aura had a clean edge. It was suppressing the Crown Prince Crocodile till he was a little out of breath. Horror was reflected in Crown Prince Crocodile's gaze. He did not expect that Yi Shiwen would have such a martial instrument. Just from a distance, he could feel the instinctual fear as if the weapon could swallow him and tear him apart. In front of this saber, Crown Prince Crocodile could feel his insignificance. He did not know what this saber had slain. It made him feel timid and made him feel the insignificance of his soul. The situation never happened previously. In the past, he had never felt that he was insignificant. Among the younger generation, he was the few people who could dominate the elites. His achievements would be limitless in the future, but now he felt so powerless. At the same time, as the horror crawled upon Crown Prince Crocodile, his greed was surging. He felt such a martial instrument was wasted in Yi Zaiwen's hands. Only he could wield its power to the peak, killing many foes in different places and create a prestigious name. Brat, if you give me this saber, I can forgive you for all your previous disrespect. How about that? Crown Prince Crocodile stared at Yi Shiwen intently and demanded. His side gaze was all on the Emergence immortal exterminating saber in Yi Zaiwen's hands. Do you think I will believe you? Yi Shiwen said with a cold smile. Do you think everyone had a crocodile brain like you? Yi Shiwen had seen through it all already. The Emergence immortal exterminating saber was his only way out. Without Emergence immortal exterminating saber, he was certain that Crown Prince Crocodile would kill him on the spot and would not give him any chance. For people like Crown Prince Crocodile, Yi Shiwen had a clear understanding. No matter whether he gave out the Emergence immortal exterminating saber or not, Crown Prince Crocodile would not let him go. Crown Prince Crocodile had a long face in embarrassment. As what Yi Shiwen had thought, he did not intend to let Yi Shiwen go. Whether Yi Shiwen was willing to hand over Emergence immortal exterminating saber, he would still behead Yi Shiwen. He could not bear such an annoying human to be alive. At this time, he was irritated, being unable to acquire Emergence immortal exterminating saber. He was also embarrassed with his inner thoughts figured out by his opponent. His killing intent on Yi Shiwen's sword. Since he is not willing to give it, then I will grab it. It's just putting in more effort. For such a magnificent saber, only I'm worthy to wield it. At this tense moment, Yao Qian and Yi Zaiwen's arms giggled abruptly. Crocodile brain. Yi Shiwen was probably the only one who dared to speak to Crown Prince Crocodile like this in the Flourish Cloud Sea region. Even the unparalleled sword would not talk like that. Brat, you're enjoying your romance, yeah? Crown Prince Crocodile sneered, looking at Yao Qian, who was in Yi Zaiwen's arms, and said, What a great opportunity to send you both to hell, enjoying the life of a ghost couple. Yao Qian resented the humiliation. As the sunny bamboo chamber of commerce's heir, even those who had coveted her for a long time dared not to speak so presumptuously. Yi Shiwen didn't care about Crown Prince Crocodile's mockery. He clenched Emergence immortal exterminating saber. It's now or never. Yi Shiwen gritted his teeth and waved the Emergence immortal exterminating saber in his hand. Every slash could easily make ripples in the space, showing unimaginable power. If most of its ability hadn't been sealed, the effect would not be just like that. But at this moment, the burning corpse's roar behind him was approaching as well. Yi Shiwen even heard the shouts of Qi Dong running. As the strongest among the adventuring warrior group, he decided to escape too. Hearing this voice, Crown Prince Crocodile was hesitant. The burning corpse dealt a heavy blow to him. The arrogant him had to flee in embarrassment too. But he was unwilling to let Yi Shiwen go. If he could obtain the saber, he could defeat all the young masters in the flourished Cloud Sea region. At this time, the 4 burning corpses around him seemed to be summoned by something. They started to be impatient. Brat, lucky you! Crown Prince Crocodile finally chose to escape. If he stayed, it would be challenging to take down Yi Shiwen in a short time. He could only choose to leave. Chapter 896. Chapter 896. 3 years close cultivation, seeing the departure of Crown Prince Crocodile. Yi Shiwen finally breathed a sigh of relief. If Crown Prince Crocodile decided to fight just now, he would have to fight for his life. There was no other way despite the slim winning chance. The best Yi Shiwen could achieve was to let Crown Prince Crocodile suffer terribly. He was satisfied with just that result. As soon as Crown Prince Crocodile left, the 4 burning corpses, without deterrence, immediately rushed towards Yi Shiwen. Clang! The emergence immortal exterminating saber in Yi Shiwen's hand instantly burst into a brilliant saber light. He wielded the emergence immortal exterminating saber in strain. Shwa! An astonishing saber aura instantly slashed out. A transcendent realm's 6th level burning corpse was immediately split in half. In front of this emergence immortal exterminating saber, it had no chance to fight back. Puff! Yi Shiwen spat out another mouthful of blood with his figure trembling slightly. Are you okay? Yao Qian asked. She could feel that using this emergence immortal exterminating saber was a huge burden for him. A single slash would make him spat out a mouthful of blood essence. Although this saber was powerful and scary, the ramifications were also the same. Yi Shiwen endured heavy backlash. Yi Shiwen didn't answer, but shook his head. He was holding his breath now. If he were to speak, the breath would be gone. He wouldn't be able to last long. The pair of golden wings behind him flapped again. He immediately dashed out of the gap in the middle. Asterisk roar! Asterisk the burning corpse next to him filled his ears with roars. Another hand grabbed towards him. It was a transcendent realm's 7th level burning corpse. If the burning corpse landed the hit, Yi Shiwen was certain that he would not be able to escape. I have to fight. Yi Shiwen became more determined. He waved emergence immortal exterminating saber again in his hand. An amazing saber aura quickly spun in the sky. It looked like a halo spinning in the sky, directly causing ripples in the sky. The slash quickly entered the chest of this burning corpse. The heavy might tore the burning corpse in half. Puff! Yi Shiwen spouted another mouthful of blood. He started to feel dizzy. Most of his chi was taken away. This emergence immortal exterminating saber was too costly to wield, since he could not wield it entirely during the peak state, let alone he was severely injured already. He quickly suppressed the injury on his body with the Phoenix regeneration technique, preventing it from worsening. He managed to stay flying. After successfully sustaining a backlash, Yi Shiwen breathed a sigh of relief and rushed out directly. The other 2 burning corpses couldn't stop him at all and let him escape. After successfully escaping the palace, Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian both breathed a sigh of relief. In a bottomless oceanic trench, there was silence around it. No creatures in the sea approached. There was a looming protective shield above the trench, dividing the trench inside and outside like 2 worlds. In the trench, a man and a woman sat on the sea bottom. The tremendous pressure of the seawater beside them did not seem to cause any problems to them. It was Yi Shiwen and Yao Qian. Both of them were treating their injuries with breathing techniques. The first to recover was Yi Shiwen, who was fatally injured. Phoenix regeneration technique was worthy of the top recovery martial techniques. Even if Yi Shiwen's injury was more serious, he was 1 step ahead of Yao Qian in recovery. After returning to the peak, Yi Shiwen breathed a sigh of relief. The situation just now was too dangerous. If he didn't leave in time, he might fall into the hands of the terrifying burning corpse and get torn apart. However, after his recovery was over, Yao Qian had already recovered, but she did not stop. Instead, she continued to attempt her breakthrough. After swallowing the flame essence, she planned to ascend to Transcendent Realm's 6th level in one go. She was already at Transcendent Realm 5th level peak. There was only a tiny gap to enter the Transcendent Realm's 6th level. This injury had become an opportunity instead. She wanted to utilize this opportunity to attain the Transcendent Realm's 6th level. There was a considerable gap between the Transcendent Realm 5th level and the Transcendent Realm 6th level. Among the 9 Transcendent Realm levels, the first 3 levels were the initial stage. The middle 3 levels were the intermediate stage. After entering the Transcendent Realm 6th level, she was basically at the Transcendent Realm intermediate peak. Transcendent Realm 7th level would be the next stage. Yi Shiwen saw that she didn't leave directly, so he ignored her. He entered close cultivation too. He realized his shortcomings after the previous experience, especially compared to the top young figures like Crown Prince Crocodile. There was still a gap that allowed the opponent to run over him smoothly. He needed to improve as soon as possible to catch up with the younger generation elites in Ancient Barrens. If others heard the news about it, they would think Yi Shiwen was too arrogant. However, Yi Shiwen did not see the process as challenging. After all, he was already at the top among the younger generation in true martial domain. It was just a change of environment. There was no reason to downplay himself. Most importantly, despite having more geniuses in Ancient Barrens domain than true martial domain, the cultivation environment was much more comfortable than the true martial domain. That would be Yi Ziwen's advantage. Like Yao Qian, Yi Shiwen also began to consume the flame essence. Although flame essence was extra helpful for people with fire-attributed cultivation techniques, Yi Shiwen did not cultivate fire-attributed cultivation techniques. Hence, the effect was relatively poor. Still, Yi Shiwen didn't care less. Anyway, he had 10 pieces of flame essence. As long as his cultivation realm could be improved, it was not a waste to consume them all. At the moment the flame essence was consumed, the qi in Yi Ziwen's body immediately boiled. Yi Ziwen's body had gradually transformed into the physique of a phoenix. He had a good affinity with fire-attributed energy. Since the flame essence's effect was similar, Yi Shiwen found it easier to utilize it fully. These 10 flame essences were definitely enough to transform Yi Ziwen's fire spirit body characteristic to the next level. It produced a natural enhancement to the martial techniques of fire attributes. The fire spirit body was also famous among many unique physiques. The 5-element spirit body was famous. It pushed the control over element-attributed martial techniques to an extraordinary level. Of course, the most important thing was to be able to advance Yi Ziwen's cultivation. The energy in the flame essence had gradually transformed into energy Yi Shiwen capable of absorbing. His cultivation also advanced bit by bit. When Yi Shiwen pushed his cultivation to the Transcendent Realm's 2nd level peak, it was already 2 years later. Yi Ziwen's previous cultivation advancement was too fast. Now, Yi Shiwen wanted to recuperate this defect and consolidate the foundation. On this day, Yi Shiwen continued to consolidate his foundation. Suddenly, a powerful aura burst out of Yao Qian's body not far away. She could hold the aura in, and it shot straight into the sky. Yi Shiwen immediately knew that Yao Qian had already attained a breakthrough, one step faster than him. However, Yao Qian didn't move and seemed to be consolidating her new realm. It was only a month later that she finished consolidating her realm. Yao Qian stopped her cultivation. Her aura at the Transcendent Realm's 6th level was utterly different from the past. She had become more robust, definitely not just a little bit. She looked at Yi Shiwen with a slightly complicated expression. Without this person, she would have been eliminated in the hands of the burning corpse. She would never have survived. Not to mention, she would be able to ascend into Transcendent Realm's 6th level. Although she helped Yi Shiwen previously, she still felt that Yi Shiwen helped her more. Most importantly, she did not need to take any real risks to help Yi Shiwen at that time, but Yi Shiwen came to save her with her life in danger. Seeing that Yi Shiwen was still in close cultivation, she directly transmitted the voice, "Yi Shiwen, I will hold a gathering of young experts 1 year later. If you're free from close cultivation at that time, please attend." After she finished speaking, a light shone from her feet. She flew straight out of the oceanic trench. Yi Shiwen closed his eyes and didn't get up, but it didn't mean that he didn't realize anything. He left some of his spiritual sense outside of him during his close cultivation. A gathering of young experts a year from now? Yi Shiwen was a little eager for it. He didn't know what level he was among the young experts of the flourished Cloud Sea region. This would be an excellent opportunity to let Yi Shiwen grasp his standing. Moreover, Yao Qian hosted it. Hence, attending young experts would not be inferior. This was precisely what Yi Shiwen needed. However, Yi Shiwen did not dawdle in his thoughts any further, but immersed in his cultivation. He did not pay too much attention to it. After all, he did not know whether he could be released from his cultivation after a year. If he failed to do so, he would miss it. Yi Zaiwen's aura continued to grow stronger. He was challenging the Transcendent Realm 3rd level. He kept activating Observing Person Scripture. The mini-universe in his body was rotating continuously, absorbing the rich power of flame essence. In the past 3 years, he had consumed 3 flame essences. If Yi Shiwen majored in cultivation techniques with fire attributes, 3 flame essences worth of energy would be enough for him to directly enter the Transcendent Realm 5th level. However, Yi Shiwen merely stopped at Transcendent Realm 2nd level peak. But Yi Shiwen didn't care, nor felt that it was a pity. Little by little, he struck the barrier to attain Transcendent Realm 3rd level. In a blink of an eye, another year passed. Yi Zaiwen's aura gradually became more robust. He dissipated the realm barrier many times. The Transcendent Realm 3rd level's realm barrier also became smaller bit by bit. Finally, Yi Shiwen launched another hit on the realm barrier. Boom! Yi Zaiwen's aura finally soared into the sky, no longer stagnating. Chapter 897. Chapter 897. 99th Concubine Yi Zaiwen's aura had a drastic difference. He retracted all the aura seeping out of his body with ease. It did not alert anyone. Yi Shiwen opened his eyes. After 3 years, he finally ascended to Transcendent Realm 3rd level. After he entered the ancient Baron's continent, this was his most extended breakthrough despite under the flame essence's effect. Of course, this had a lot to do with him deliberately slowing his progress. Laying a good foundation was still his highest priority. In true martial domain, his cultivation had come to the upper limit. However, in Ancient Barons, he could only be regarded as a younger generation of warriors at best. He was still in the stage of laying a foundation. At this time, the more solid the foundation, the more helpful it would be for his future cultivation. However, the close cultivation for the past 3 years was not in vain. After all, he also entered the Transcendent Realm 3rd level. In addition to Yi Zaiwen's close cultivation, even Yi Mo was also in close cultivation in these 3 years. In that Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion, Tianyuan Mirror had assimilated way too much vital energy and blood essence. It took a while to absorb them. When Tianyuan became available, it had evolved into an advanced human-level martial instrument. Yi Shiwen speculated the time again. It had come to the date Yao Qian mentioned, the gathering of young experts. He just wasn't sure if he missed it. Thinking of this, Yi Shiwen stood up and flew out of the oceanic trench, heading straight to the nearby sunny bamboo island. At first glance, the entire sunny bamboo island was lively. The city didn't seem to have regressed because of the Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion incident 3 years ago. The entire sunny bamboo island was discussing the gathering of young experts held by Yao Qian. Not anyone could attend this gathering. It was undoubtedly only the top-notch young experts could attend. Therefore, a massive crowd paid close attention to this gathering. Especially Sunny Bamboo Island's muse Yao invited young experts. These factors undoubtedly made the whole event more eye-catching. Yi Shiwen did not go directly to the Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce. He first found an inn to settle down. Yi Shiwen just walked in, and the waiter enthusiastically stepped forward and asked, "What does the dear customer want?" "I just want to have something to eat." Yi Shiwen was not demanding in this regard. "By the way, is the gathering of young experts held by Muse Yao over already?" It turns out that dear customer is also here to participate in the gathering of young experts. The waiter came to realize that Judging from Yi Zaiwen's young age and high cultivation, he came here to attend young experts gathering. You're in the right timing. The gathering starts today. It is said that in addition to our young experts near sunny Bamboo Island, there are also many experts on the Flourish Cloud Sea region in the top 100 list visiting personally. It's lively and brilliant with many young stars. Can the experts near sunny Bamboo Island also participate? Yi Shiwen asked curiously. Well, young experts above the Transcendent Realm's second level can enter. However, there are only foils here. The center of attention will be the young experts on the top 100 list. The waiter explained. Yi Shiwen agreed with it too. These young experts near sunny Bamboo Island were only sidekicks at best. The real protagonists should also be those masters on the top 100 list. The waiter quickly prepared meals for Yi Shiwen, while Yi Shiwen just sat quietly and listened to his surroundings. There were also discussions around this matter. Although it was only a gathering of some younger generation experts, it was not a trivial event for the entire sunny Bamboo Island. This time, I heard a lot of young experts coming. Many of them are on the top 100 list. Yeah, there should be a lot of gatherings like this because the competition for the new list is about to begin. Now, it is the time for everyone to find out each other's capabilities. Indeed, there will be the emergence of new warriors on the top 100 list, which names we have never heard of before. Apart from the competition for the top experts, what interests me is those emerging newcomers. Aren't there such dark horses in every session? That's it. Last time, from our sunny Bamboo Island, only Muse Yao and Scarlet Thunder Immortal entered the top 100 list. This time, I wonder how many can enter the rank of top 100 list. Yes, I hope there are more winners this time. It proves that my sunny Bamboo Island is more prosperous. But I heard that this time, both Muse Yao and Scarlet Thunder Immortal had made progress. Their progress in the top 100 competition will go even further than the last time. It is because of this speculation that there are more gatherings like this happening. They want to figure out each other's trump card before the top 100 competition begins. Moreover, they said that Xiao Juanhao of the Sea Dragon Mansion would come in person this time. Someone lowered his voice and said, but everyone around him heard it. All of them exclaimed immediately. Xiao Juanhao. Is that Xiao Juanhao, who is ranked 23rd in the top 100 list? Someone exclaimed. That's him. Who else will it be? He is already Transcendent Realm's 6th level peak at his young age. If he can go one step further before the top 100 competition begins and enter Transcendent Realm's 7th level, he can even compete for top 20. Sea Dragon Mansion is still strong. In the top 100 list alone, Sea Dragon Mansion alone accounted for more than a dozen places. Even so, there are many young experts of Sea Dragon Mansion noting participating in the ranking at all. Otherwise, they will occupy the top 100 list. Yi Shiwen secretly absorbed the information. Although the top 100 list was symbolic, the legitimate experts were still among the three forces. The three forces were also the human forces anchored on the Flourish Cloud Sea region. As long as the three major forces were still there, the human clan would have a foothold in the Flourish Cloud Sea region. There were many experts among the three forces. After all, there were few young experts of unknown origin like Unparalleled Sword. Most of them were from these three forces. Apart from these three forces, the sea clans had the most numbers. After that, what remained was the experts from various small forces. Suddenly, a bolt of light streaked across the sky arrogantly. The expert was in a green robe. Who is that? So arrogant? They're the Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan experts. They said that Bai Li Xuan of Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan personally led the team this time. It is probably because of Bai Chen's affairs. The Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile Clan experts sheltered Bai Chen previously. What happened annoys the Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan deeply. If it weren't for the fact that the clan is not as strong as the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile Clan, I am afraid they have already chosen to go to war with the Crocodile Clan already. That's quite serious. What exactly did Bai Chen do to irritate Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan so terribly? They would rather go into conflict with the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile Clan, someone asked. For Bai Chen, many people still had good memories of it. Bai Chen had caused a commotion in the nearby sea region. After all, God knows, Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan is tight-lipped on this matter. But there is news coming that Bai Chen died 3 years ago. It was the opening of Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion 3 years ago. No one knows whether Bai Chen died or not, but Ying is dead. Under the eyes of everyone, he died under Yi Zaiwen's hand. If not, it should be Ying leading the team. Asterisk exclaimed. Asterisk, it's no wonder that the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan is hunting people like crazy around the sea region. It turns out to be because of Yi Ying's death. No wonder. Yi Ying is the elite genius of their clans. An elite second only to Crown Prince Crocodile is dead now. Who is Yi Shiwen? I don't know. This person emerges out of nowhere and then disappears overnight. He appeared in the Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion 3 years ago, but there is no news in these 3 years. Tisk warriors are getting bolder nowadays. These young experts are often lawless. However, since these Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan experts are here, is Crown Prince Crocodile coming? He's sheltered by Chun previously. How is it possible that the gathering is worthwhile to invite a character like Crown Prince Crocodile? This time, Yihong personally led the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan. His strength is superior to Yi Ying. Despite having an inferior talent in comparison to Yi Ying, he isn't someone to be underestimated. This will be a good show. Whether it is vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan or Jade Shadow Sea Snake clan, they are both sea clans. It is better for them to hurt themselves. Despicable human beings can only dream of this kind of delusion. A harsh, disdainful voice came out. When everyone looked toward the source, they saw a young man in a green robe sitting on a bench, sneering. His green eyes were snake-like. Everyone immediately recognized at first glance that it was a Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan's expert. Those diners were a little startled. After all, they said bad things behind people's backs, only to find that the person in their topic was right in front of them. Some people were wondering who this Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan's young expert was. Why didn't he go with Bai Li Xuan, but appeared here alone? However, his next sentence immediately made many diners angry. This gathering is boring. I don't see anyone worthwhile as an expert in the human clan. It's just some people who have no reputation. That Muse Yao can be my 99th concubine, said the Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan expert coldly. 1. https://en Wikipedia /wiki/dark_horse. Chapter 898. Chapter 898. Conflict. Brat, keep your mouth clean. How can a person like you defile Muse Yao? A macho man instantly slammed the table and stood up, glaring at the green-robed youth. Apparently, this macho man was also a supporter of Yao Qian. Inside the inn, many cold eyes looked at the green-robed youth. At this time, most of the inn's customers were humans, particularly the warriors near Sunny Bamboo Island. Sunny Bamboo Island had a far-reaching reputation for having numerous supporters. The macho man's words made the crowd rowdy. There were not only admirers but many supporters to the two muses of Sunny Bamboo Island. This brat dared to speak arrogantly, saying that he wanted to marry the muse in their hearts as the 99th concubine. He appeared reluctant in his tone, too. This incited the crowd's anger. Everyone was rowdy. Hearing what this macho man said, everyone secretly applauded him. Who does this brat think he is? Is he the unparalleled sword? Yao Qian's love for the unparalleled sword was no longer a secret. Many people knew that Yao Qian had never concealed this. Faced with the angry gazes of the crowd, the green-robed young man didn't blink his eyes. He just sneered and said, "It's nothing more than a crowd of mobs." After all, human clans are notoriously weak clans. With this sentence, not only the supporters of Yao Qian were irritated, but all the human clan experts on the scene were enraged. It was a direct slap on their faces. The corner of the green-robed youth's mouth raised a little. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the macho man with layers of green glow on his palm. His target was at the macho man's neck. It was a glaring intent to kill. There was an exclamation in the inn. But no one thought that this green-robed young man would dare to do so arrogantly. He did not hesitate to the fact that this was not within the Jade Shadow Sea Snake clan's territory. Asterisk Shio. Asterisk, just when the macho man went into despair, a sharp sonic boom rang. A stream of light instantly streaked across in the air and headed directly at the green-robed youth's palm. Asterisk clang. Asterisk, the streamer was directly inserted into the wall and dispersed. Everyone noticed that it was a chopstick, which was inserted into the wall fiercely. The chopstick's tail was still shaking violently. It showed how powerful the force was when the chopstick was launched. At the critical moment, the green-robed youth avoided the chopstick attack and was not penetrated by the chopsticks on the spot. The green-robed youth's complexion turned ugly immediately. If he could not avoid it in time just now, the chopstick would pierce his hand. "Who? How dare you attack me?" The green-robed youth suddenly shouted. His snake eyes scanned over many diners. The macho man finally regained his sense. "Nothing happened to me. I'm alive." At that moment, he thought he was dead. The green-robed young man was too agile. It happened too fast with no time to react. The macho man immediately looked at the green-robed youth in front of him with some horror. The strength of this green-robed youth was absolutely beyond his imagination. No wonder even if he was not in the Jade Shadow Sea Snake clan's territory, he still dared to be so aggressive. "Shut up!" Then, a lazy voice came from a table. Everyone looked intently, but saw that it was a young man in a white robe. He had a fair and handsome face, but with a toothpick hanging in his mouth, making him look a bit more scornful. He was holding a chopstick in his hand, constantly beating the table. The chopstick just now was launched from his hand. Yishuan also took a few more glances. He was a little surprised with the white-robed youth. He was vying to make a move just now, only to find that someone had already rescued the macho man. In the end, he managed not to expose himself. It was just that the young man didn't look old. He appeared like a teenager. Although it was unwise to judge a warrior from the displayed age, it would offer some clues. It's another young expert. At this time, many people also noticed the existence of this white-robed boy. They couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. The gathering of young experts made rare young experts prevalent. They all surfaced all of a sudden. Whether it is this green-robed youth or this white-robed youth, their strength could easily suppress the crowd. "Did you attack me just now?" The green-robed youth looked coldly at the white-robed youth and said with killing intent in that pair of snake eyes, "Why are you so noisy? A filthy mouth can't utter decent language like a dog who can't spit out ivory." The white-robed boy still looked bored. "Huh?" Hearing the white-robed boy's words, the human martial artist Indian laughed immediately. The white-robed boy appeared slothful, but his words were extremely sharp. "Boy, are you in hate with your long lifespan and thus courting death?" The green-robed youth said in a cold voice. He did not make a move immediately like just now. He was quite intimidated by this white-robed boy with an unknown background. Being someone diffusing the situation at a critical moment, how could the white-robed boy be an ordinary person? "Yeah, how do you know that I despise my life being too long? I think that I still have more than 9,000 years to live. What's the matter?" The white-robed boy appeared unfazed. Many martial artists around were laughing secretly. He looked like a naive boy. Generally, only people thought that their lives were not long enough. No one would believe that their lifespan was too long. Just now, the white-robed boy diffused the threatening words as if they were mere jokes. "Just now, I would like to thank honorable youth for saving my life." The macho man quickly thanked the white-haired boy as he cupped his hand. "No thanks. I was too lazy to be nosy, but this guy defiled my sister Yao. Who does he think he is? Is he worthy of being compared with my sister Yao?" The white-robed boy raised his hand and said nonchalantly. He then looked at the green-robed youth coldly. It was the macho man who stood there a little embarrassed. "You don't need to be so direct. You made me embarrass myself. Anyway, if I don't make a move, someone else will do it." At this time, the white-robed boy looked at Yishuan. Following his gaze, everyone in the inn also looked at Yishuan, which ultimately exposed Yishuan. Yi Shiwen was calm and composed, but he didn't expect that the kid noticed him about to make a move. This kid isn't simple. This also included the fierce gaze of the green-robed youth. His murderous intent was glaring. What do you damn humans treat me like? Am I a clown to you all? Everyone can offend me. For him, this was simply unbearable. When did he get treated like this? But compared to Yi Shiwen, he still hated this white-robed boy more. He stared at the white-robed boy coldly and said, "Who are you? How dare you to interrupt my business?" Imbai Hanmo. I don't even bother to care about your rubbish business, but you dare to covet Sister Yao as a concubine. You're quite a bold one. The white-robed boy got serious and stood upright. When he got up, he did not stop hitting the table with his chopsticks. Damn you, kid. We're going to settle scores here. The green-robed youth was furious. Since just now, he almost never had the upper hand in the argument. He could not let it continue any longer. A dagger appeared in the green-robed youth's hand and disappeared instantly. When it reappeared, the dagger had already appeared in front of the white-robed youth. The dagger streaked across the air, bringing about a trail of green flash. This white-robed boy immediately waved the chopsticks in his hand. When the green light approached, the chopsticks in his hand emitted a dim light. Boom! The green-robed youth suddenly felt an unimaginable force imposed on his dagger. The dagger in his hand almost fell to the ground. He couldn't believe it. He didn't expect that he fell into a disadvantage in the first clash. However, his reaction was fast. Immediately, he clenched it and reverse gripped the dagger's handle. It instantly slid toward the white-robed boy's throat at an even more alarming speed. All this happened so quickly that no one saw it. Yi Shiwen, being the only one who saw it, shouted, "Be careful." Yi Shiwen didn't expect that the green-robed youth could counterattack in this situation. This green-robed youth was not a simpleton. He was capable of reaching the Transcendent Realm's 6th level peak. The white-robed boy just gave a cold snort. With the same ordinary chopstick, it exerted the divine tool's might. Dang! With a loud clang, the white-robed boy deflected the approaching dagger. At this time, the white-robed young man made his move. He kicked out at lightning speed, sending the green-robed young man directly. The young man in the green robe was blasted away and slammed on the wall violently before his figure stopped. At this time, he was already in a sorry state. He looked at the white-robed youth with horror. He didn't know the opponent's background, only to hear the white-robed boy say coldly, "Next time if I hear you coveting my sister Yao, I will kill you. Your clans won't be able to protect you." Worse still, Unparalleled Sword had facial paralysis. Although he had encountered the Unparalleled Sword twice, they had not chatted. The first time was when he was still in a restaurant, and the second time was in Holy Realm Dweller's mansion. The Unparalleled Sword was so fast that Yi Shiwen could not follow his sight on the Unparalleled Sword. That person is Yi Shiwen. Am I mistaken? You're not wrong. It is definitely him. He's too courageous. Although the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan experts have relaxed a little bit on hunting him down, he actually dares to appear here. He is courting death. Indeed, I heard that he Ying Dai in his hands. This gathering will become more lively. Brother Yi, you are so famous. Bai Hamo looked at Yi Shiwen as if he was a miracle in the world, making him somewhat speechless. It would be a matter of time before being recognized. Perhaps he did not leave a deep impression on sunny Bamboo Island. At that time, everyone paid attention to Crown Prince Crocodile and Unparalleled Sword. However, with the Ying after dying in his hands, his popularity also soared instantly. Yi Shiwen didn't want to say anything more. He pulled Bai Hanmo in. He suddenly felt that going along with Bai Hanmo was a mistake. When Yi Shiwen entered, he found that the crowd had reached more than 200 people. Most of them were young, Transcendent Realm 2nd level experts. There were a few Transcendent Realm 3rd level and 4th level warriors standing out in the crowd. These were the young experts who were well known in the parameter. Although they couldn't make it to the top 100 list, They were also rare, elite experts among the younger generation. There were at least several times this number of experts who couldn't get in. On the platform in the middle of the venue, a group of about 7 or 8 people stood on it, forming a completely incompatible scene with these people below. The eyes of the young experts below were facing the 8 warriors on the platform. Yi Shiwen looked over and saw a few acquaintances. Of course, Qi stood on a platform. Scarlet Thunder Immortal stood beside him, which Yi Shiwen did not expect. Beside Qi 2 young men stood beside him, one on the left and the other on the right. In addition to them, there are 2 Sea Clan experts. One was the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile Clan, and the other was Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan. Obviously, the warrior on the platform was Yi Hong and Bai Li Xuan. At this time, the 2 of them were obviously cold and hostile to each other. Thinking of what Yi Shiwen had heard previously, it must be because of Bai Chun. It was a pity that Yi Shiwen killed Bai Chun previously. He didn't inspect on Bai Chun's memory at the time, so he didn't know what happened to Bai Chun that caused him to be under Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan's pursuit. What surprised Yi Shiwen was that the previous green-robed youth was standing next to Bai Li Xuan. It seemed they had a close connection. These warriors were obviously better than those below. At least they were at the top 100 list. Why don't I see Sister Yao? Bai Hamo glanced, then asked. She is the host. She should come last, replied Yi Shiwen immediately. That's right, elder brother Yi. It's quite fun on the platform. We should go up too. Let's go. Bai Hamo was a little bored when he noticed Yao Qian was not there. Then again, his next thoughts excited him. Then let's go up together. It's a good opportunity to greet my acquaintances. Yi Shiwen glanced at Scarlet Thunder Immortal on the platform and said coldly. The 2 of them morphed into 2 bolts of light and arrived at the high platform. It immediately attracted the attention of the experts who were gazing at the platform. Who are these 2 warriors? They dare to rush up directly. Don't they know that this high platform is only qualified for the top 100? Haha, this will be an exhilarating performance. If they're not strong enough, they will probably be thrown down the platform on the spot. They are not the first. This will be interesting. Many warriors were wondering how Yi Shiwen and his partner dared to rush up. Most importantly, the spectating warriors were waiting for them to be embarrassed, as if seeing the 2 of them made a fool of themselves would improve the spectating warriors' mood. Chapter 900. Chapter 900. Complimenting the others, the 2 went up the platform and immediately attracted the attention of several others on the platform. In particular, after Scarlet Thunder Immortal saw Yi Shiwen, her face changed slightly with hatred flashed in her eyes. At this moment, a tall and elegant young expert next to her saw this scene and seemed thoughtful. Another gaze filled with hatred toward Yi Shiwen was none other than the green-robed youth who previously suffered a loss under Bai Hanmo's hand. At this time, seeing the 2 of them again, he was resentful. Yi Shiwen sighed in his heart. It seemed that there were no friendly warriors on the entire platform. Almost all of them were his opponents, but he didn't care. It was an excellent opportunity to have punching bags for practice. Who the hell are you 2? How dare you stand here? Don't you know what this place signifies? Among the crowd, the first to react was a young man in a Chinese robe next to Scarlet Thunder Immortal, a stark contrast to the tall and elegant man beside him. Yi Shiwen hadn't spoken yet. Bai Hamo next to him was already infuriated. Being stopped outside for assessment was enough to make him angry. If it wasn't for his sister Yao, how could he bear it? Who the hell is this? How dare he speak like this? Who are you? I haven't doubted your qualifications yet. How dare you question me? Blurted Bai Hanmo coldly. That person was enraged after Bai Hanmo's humiliation. He stared at Bai Hanmo angrily with murderous intent in his eyes. Typically, he would not be so reckless, but he was disgusted with warriors coming up the platform casually. He could not identify Bai Hanmo's strength. However, Yi Shiwen had just stepped into Transcendent Realm 3rd level. He viewed the contender to be someone minute of little significance. The so-called people of the same quality gathered up in groups. Those accompanying Yi Shiwen naturally would not be outstanding characters. Hence, he decided to take the lead and shoo these fellows away. The green-robed youth in the distance saw this scene. He smiled a little at Yi Zaiwen's trouble. He had never witnessed Yi Zaiwen's capability, but he recognized Bai Hanmo's outstanding strength. Seeing someone was about to suffer in Bai Hanmo's hands, he didn't intend to remind the warrior, but rather gloated over that warrior. If only he were miserably punished by Bai Hanmo, wouldn't it appear that he was too incompetent? However, if another person suffered the same fate, he would not appear incompetent, but just that Bai Hanmo was too strong. Just when the fight was about to erupt. Imshi Hongru, fellow brothers, may I know your name? The elegant young man beside Scarlet Thunder Immortal stepped forward and said with a slightly sunny smile on his face. Bai Hanmo, Yi Shiwen. The duo had no hesitation. It turns out to be Brother Yi. It is nice meeting you after hearing about you for a long time. I heard that even Yi Ying of Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan perished in your hands. You're quite capable. Shi Hongru smiled respectfully. The average person probably really thought he admired Yi Shiwen. However, Yi Shiwen heard the instigation immediately. Was killing Yi Ying something worthy to share around? Sure enough, as soon as he said this, Yi Hong from Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan immediately stared at Yi Shiwen murderously. When Yi Zaiwen's name was first heard, he still somewhat did not react. Although the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan had also frantically searched for Yi Shiwen, he relaxed after not finding Yi Shiwen. In the blink of an eye, a few years had passed. He almost forgot about it. Shi Hongru's words alerted him. Isn't this the Yi Shiwen we are looking for? Great. Did you kill Yi Ying? The glaring killing intent in Yi Hong's gaze shrouded Yi Shiwen. It could be laughter from anxiety, or he could be complimenting the kill. Yes, he killed Yi Ying. I saw it with my own eyes at the time. Scarlet Thunder Immortal said softly at this time. Just like adding fuel to the fire, Yi Hong's killing intent had intensified. Yi Shiwen was not afraid but said indifferently, Do you think I can't kill you? His gaze was directed at Scarlet Thunder Immortal. Seeing Yi Zaiwen's gaze, Scarlet Thunder Immortal immediately recalled the moment Yi Shiwen defeated Yi Ying overwhelmingly. She immediately cringed in anxiety. Soon, her panic was overwhelmed by the resentment. She looked at Yi Shiwen without giving way. Awesome. You dare to threaten others in front of me. You're courting death. Yi Hong sneered. He hurled his claws toward Yi Shiwen with obvious space cracks marking his trail. Yi Shiwen tapped his toes and dodged the terrifying attack like a phantom. He did it calmly without any extra movements. Yi Hong did not give up. When he was about to continue his next move, a commotion came from below. Mu Xiao is here. Mu Xiao appears. Everyone diverted their gaze and saw Yao Qian, dressed in a purple robe, descended from the sky. She appeared like a muse with fairy tale elements. Before Yao Qian arrived, her words echoed. Yao Qian thanks you all for attending my humble gathering despite your busy schedule. This gathering will be unlike the past. There will be an opportunity for everyone to duel with each other. This will be the thriller for the top 100 competition. As soon as Yao Qian stopped her words, she had already landed on the platform. Countless scorching eyes looked in Yao Qian's direction. Sister Yao. Sister Yao. Bai Hanmo ran up to Yao Qian first and greeted her with a smile. Little Mo. Seeing Bai Hanmo, Yao Qian seemed a little surprised. He didn't expect. Why did you come out? Do the family know about it? Sister Yao, you know me. I just ran out secretly. It was too boring to be locked up at home. So I came to visit Sister Yao to have fun. Bai Hanmo didn't hide it and said it out blatantly. Yao Qian glanced at Bai Hanmo, irritated. She seemed to be used to Bai Hanmo too. However, she looked at Yi Hong and Yi Shiwen, who were now facing each other. She said softly, About the grievance between you two, do you have to resolve it right here and right now? In front of Yao Qian, Yi Hong suddenly laughed and said, Since Mu Xiao has spoken, I can't help but give you a bit of face. In the duel, accidents happen. Please don't blame me for accidentally killing him. Yi Hong seemed to be wary of Yao Qian's prestige. He decided to back down a little rather than blurting out threats without hesitation. Accidents happen in a duel. Our life and death depend on fate with no one to blame. Yi Shiwen also added, continuing from Yi Hong's words. If that's the case, I won't say much. Yao Qian sighed. Her fair and delicate face became a little down. She took a deep look at Yi Shiwen with a complicated expression. If that is the case, then everyone, please sit down. The gathering begins now. Sister Yao, let me tell you that the person in the green robe over there said that he wanted to marry you as his 99th concubine. However, I beat him up to teach him a lesson, said by Hanmo, triumphantly, as if he had done something remarkable. These words directly made Yao Qian a little bit dumbfounded. The atmosphere on the scene suddenly became cold, especially the green-robed youth, whose face was flushed. He didn't know what to say, but he couldn't refute it at all. After all, it was the fact that he suffered a big loss by Hanmo's hands. Mu Xiao, my clan brother, by Han Hai made a mistake. He didn't think much before speaking out. Please forgive him for me. Bai Li Xuan could only force himself to defuse the situation. He cursed secretly in his heart. What do you mean by the person in the green robe? I'm wearing a green robe too. However, he knew that what this kid said was true. His clan brother was well known to be lustful in the clan. Him declaring to marry Yao Qian as the 99th concubine was merely a joke. However, the atmosphere should turn too cold. The Jade Shadow Sea Snake clan was not an overlord like the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan. They could not provoke enemies everywhere. It's all right, said Yao Qian calmly without even looking at that by Han Hai, as if looking at a passerby. Bai Han Hai's face turned blue immediately. Yao Qian being furious would be better than ignoring him like this. Since Yao Qian didn't say anything, other people were even less qualified to say anything. Everyone went directly to the platform. At this time, the Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce's servant had arranged the tables and chairs neatly. Everyone was seated. The minority who could go to the platform were naturally sitting on the frontal seat area, with one chair and table for each person. They were divided into two sides. The center was where everyone would have a duel later. Since it had been held twice, Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce was quite experienced. Everything was held in an orderly manner. Sitting at the center's upper end was Yao Qian, while Yi Shiwen and Bai Hanmo were seated at the end of the frontal seat area. Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce made the arrangement so, but fortunately, neither of them cared about this. I'm lucky enough to be eligible to participate in this gathering held by Mu Xiao. I'm not talented either. I'm willing to come here to compliment the others, so let me do it first. In the center, there was a young man with a long sword in his hand. Although his strength was not high, he had also reached the Transcendent Realm's second level. Who would like to come up and give him some pointers? Chapter 901. Chapter 901. Keeping silent is a slap in the face. Who is willing to come up and give me some pointer? The man cupped his hand. He skipped the pleasantries. The time for all warriors was precious. They would rather spend every minute on cultivation, particularly for these young experts who had already attained the Transcendent Realm at a young age. They were considered the elites already. Many of them had the hope to reach beyond Transcendent Realm in the future. Qianing Hao is here to duel with you. Another young figure flew out. Im Shiping, the man who stepped on the stage first, arched his hands. The two of them faced each other with their gaze becoming cold and sharp. Their aura began to sweep out. Although they were not the experts on the top 100 list, they were still experts. Neither of them took the first move, seemingly searching for an opening from the opponent. They did not want their flaws to be exposed first. Qianing Hao could not wait and took the first move. He wielded his long saber and slashed out dozens of saber phantoms in the sky. It was like a net formed with saber aura, covering all Shiping's escape route. Yi Shiwen nodded. The young expert eligible for the gathering is strong, unlike the petty Wu Chenhai in the past. In the face of the saber phantoms in the sky, Shiping was still composed. His offense was unlike the saber phantom that covered the sky. He dished a sword light that pierced through the saber phantoms in the sky. Immediately, the saber phantoms covering the sky shattered. Shiping's performance to counteract his opponent was splendid. But Qianing Hao was not someone easy to deal with. The moment the saber phantom was dissipated, another saber phantom quickly followed up again. Both had an equal strength. Solely from the battlefield, the only difference would be Qianing Hao had always taken the initiative. He had initiated most of the attacks. Thus, it gave Qianing Hao the advantageous position that allowed him to determine how the battle would go. Elder brother Yi, who do you think will win? Bai Hamo next to him asked. Shiping, said Yi Shiwen lightly. Why? Bai Hamo was baffled. As a matter of fact, both sides seemed to be in a stalemate, but Qianing Hao had been taking the initiative in the duel. Qianing Hao should have a better winning chance instead. Qianing Hao uses saber. Saber is the hegemon in the army. The essence of his weapon is to press forward. However, it will lose out in an endurance battle. Like the saying, the first war drumming cheers them up, then the second drum weakens, while the third drum devitalizes. Qianing Hao has no chance of winning. Yi Shiwen had always used saber himself. His understanding of the saber technique had reached a profound level. It was also because of the deduction of mysterious space that he had attainments that were difficult for ordinary people to understand. But if Qianing Hao defeats Shiping before his aura is exhausted, he will win. Bai Hamo still had doubt. In this respect, he was far inferior to Yi Shiwen. His growth experience was much smoother than Yi Shiwen. His understanding of many things was far less thorough than Yi Shiwen. If it's any other opponent, Qianing Hao has a good chance of winning even if the opponent is in the same level. Unfortunately, Shiping is composed and does not move blindly. He holds on to this defensive stance. After sustaining through the initial momentum, he will last till Qian Yingheo's exhaustion. By that time, it's time to decide the victor. Yi Shiwen added. The two were almost the same in strength. Qianing Hao only had the slight upper hand with no way to suppress Shiping completely. That was why Yi Shiwen made such a judgment. This is ridiculous. Who do you think you are? Many experts here dare not to declare the victors so soon. How dare you proclaim that Qianing Hao will lose? A sneer came from the other side. Although there were hundreds of meters of distance, for people with cultivation like them, unless they deliberately lowered their volume, it was no different from talking face to face. Everyone noticed that it was the young expert in a Chinese robe next to Scarlet Thunder Immortal. At this time, he was looking at Yi Shiwen with disdain, as if he was witnessing a joke. From Yao Qian's explanation through sound transmission, Yi Shiwen learned that this person was named Chai Jianben. He was not an expert outside the island, but a descendant of another huge force on sunny Bamboo Island. Chai Jianben was Scarlet Thunder Immortal supporter. He was strong, not worse than Yao Qian. He had already reached the Transcendent Realm 5th level peak. His ranking was even higher than Yao Qian in the past. Bai Hamo glanced at Chai Jianben angrily, but Yi Shiwen next to him seemed to be indifferent. Everyone was a little baffled, especially Yao Qian, who was looking at Yi Shiwen. In her memories, Yi Shiwen might not be a hot-tempered person, but he wasn't a good-tempered person either. At this time, he was so quiet. Yi Shiwen ignored Chai Jianben completely. He could only look bitterly at Yi Shiwen, who completely ignored him, and then returned his gaze to the battlefield. The situation in the battlefield was like a movie directed by Yi Shiwen himself. What Yi Shiwen said had taken place as if Yi Shiwen had arranged their acts long ago. Qianing Hao was not weak, but his momentum fell short. As he approached exhaustion, he could not suppress the opponent any longer. With just an attack, Shiping defeated him completely. Seeing this result, Yi Shiwen still looked calm and breezy, while Chai Jianben had a long face. At this moment, everyone finally understood why Yi Shiwen didn't say anything. There was no need to comment any further. A real slap did not take any words. It was a slap which Chai Jianben had no way to avoid. This was the best slap in the face. Aren't you arrogant? Didn't you say that I am not qualified to comment? So what, isn't it developing in the way I said now? At this time, Chai Jianben finally understood why Yi Shiwen didn't retort just now. A silent slap was better than a loud one. He felt his face scorching hot. Keeping silent was a slap in the face. At this time, Chai Jianben could only look at Yi Shiwen with spiteful eyes, as if he was looking at his nemesis. Bai Hamo next to Yi Shiwen laughed unscrupulously. He kept giving thumbs up. as if to praise Yi Shiwen. Others would be concerned with Chai Jianbin's prestige and would not be involved in shaming him. Bai Hanmo did not care at all. He was only bothered with having fun. It didn't matter to him that Chai Jianbin's face was so ugly it was seemingly swollen. For this person, Yi Shiwen could only frown with resignation. After defeating Qianing Hao, Shiping took the challenge of another expert nonstop. After beating two experts who were also Transcendent Realm 2nd level peak consecutively, a Transcendent Realm 3rd level expert stopped his streak. For the gathering, these duels were just appetizers. After that, there were several rounds of duels followed by. As time passed, the Transcendent Realm 2nd level warriors slowly stopped making moves. They just watched from a distance. The main battlefield was transferred to the hands of Transcendent Realm 5th level expert, Chai Jiaming from the Chai family. Yi Shiwen, do you dare to give me some pointers? Just when Yi Shiwen felt a little bored, a harsh sound came into his ears. He saw a blue-clothed youth standing in the middle, looking at him with piercing eyes in an attempt to challenge his bottom line. In addition to him, there were many people looking at them at this movement. Some were baffled who Yi Shiwen was. He was eligible to have a seat at the main seat area. Some people knew Yi Shiwen, but some people knew nothing about Yi Shiwen at all. Hence, this group of people was baffled. After all, Yi Shiwen only seemed to be at Transcendent Realm 3rd level. Even among them, the Transcendent Realm 3rd level was not outstanding. It could only be regarded as average, not to mention among the top 100 experts. Everyone looked at Yi Shiwen and didn't know how he would answer. Generally speaking, those experts sitting at the main seat area would not participate in the duel so soon. At worst, they would be within top 100 at a level whole lot higher than everyone else. For the average warriors, this group was in a different caliber. If these warriors were involved, there was nothing worthwhile to watch for the average warriors duel. After all, who would be interested in the inferior ones? So no matter whether it was the crowd or those in the top 100, they would seek to participate later in the event. But Yi Shiwen was different. In the eyes of many people, Yi Shiwen had not yet proven his strength, so some people inevitably found it unacceptable. Yi Shiwen glanced at the opposite Chai Jianbin with a smile. Chai Jiaming openly challenged him at this time. There was definitely someone supporting him at the back. However, since the challenger was here, Yi Shiwen should not be in cowardice. Yi Shiwen smiled as he stood up and said, "If this is the case, then I will personally give you some pointers." Huh? As soon as Yi Ziwen's words came out, many people suddenly couldn't help being amused. Chai Jiaming was giving pleasantries superficially. Yi Shiwen actually grabbed his words and wanted to give pointers to him. In particular, Bai Hanmo rolled around with a smile. Chai Jiaming's face flushed. Yi Ziwen's words irritated him. He could only say bitterly, "I hope your capability is the same with your mouth." Chapter 902. Chapter 902. You only have one chance. I hope your capability is the same with your lips. Before he finished his words, Yi Shiwen had leaped into the arena. Although it was just a simple jump, it was elegant and uninhibited under Yi Ziwen's maneuver. His understanding of the movement technique was robust. "If you're capable, don't hold back. You only have one chance," said Yi Shiwen lightly. In the eyes of many people who didn't understand Yi Ziwen's strength, there was only one word left to describe it: arrogant. It could even be regarded as egotistical. In any case, Chai Jiaming was also a famous genius in the Chai family, second only to Chai Jianbin. He was treated like a child, in Yi Ziwen's words. "You can only have one chance." Chai Jiaming was mad at Yi Ziwen's words. He suddenly yelled and leaped forward. His figure resembled a cannonball, and it shot out in an instant. The long sword in his hand emitted a terrifying sword glow. Chai Jiaming's strength was at Transcendent Realm 5th level. In the top 100 list, it was even higher than Scarlet Thunder Immortal's previous ranking. Although it was the previous list, it was impossible for the warrior on the list to make no progress at all. There were still many inaccuracies in the top 100 list. For example, the prerequisite was that someone must participate to make the list count. Those who did not participate would naturally not be included in the ranking. So although many people were paying attention to the top 100 list, it was still a reference point. Otherwise, there would not be so many dark horses appearing every year. Even some dark horses could easily attain a high ranking. Die! Chai Jiaming confronted Yi Shiwen directly. The terrifying sword aura gathered together and instantly fell in front of him. Yi Shiwen stomped on his feet with his figure swaying slightly. That horrible sword aura passed through his silhouette, fell on the surrounding barrier, and instantly blasted ripples on the barrier. These barriers were reinforced to hold gatherings many times. The contenders were the top experts of the younger generation. All of them had their unique trump card. If the barrier were not reinforced dedicatedly, the damage would likely spread to the spectators. Without any protective measures, these young experts would probably ruin the entire Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce. Chai Jiaming is so strong. I didn't expect him to grow so strong after not seeing him for a while. The local experts on Sunny Bamboo Island recognized Chai Jiaming. On Sunny Bamboo Island, Chai Jiaming was well known, like Wang Mingyu, Wang Feiyun, and Wu Chenhai on South Initiate Island. Transcendent Realm 5th level. If he competes for the top 100 list this time, he might earn a place. It's hard to say. The top 100 list is also from the previous year. No one knows what will change. All the experts on the top 100 list are all top talents. How can there be no progress in 1 year? But even so, Chai Jiaming is quite amazing already. Yi Shiwen actually said you only have one chance. I am afraid Yi Shiwen is humiliated for his arrogance. It's more than humiliation. I think he will lose his life too. After most people witnessed Chai Jiaming's strength, they were more inclined to think that Chai Jiaming would win. Yi Shiwen would be considered lucky if he survived in the end. But there were also a small number of people who knew the inside story. They knew who exactly Yi Shiwen was. This minority group sneered. It was far too early to judge now. Yi Ziwen's strength was far more terrifying than what most of the crowd thought. The majority of the crowd did not even know how Ying died 3 years ago. He was the one who killed Ying 3 years ago. In these 3 years, would he be stagnant with no progress? This particular group didn't believe it. It was a stark contrast in the actual battlefield. Chai Jiaming noticed Yi Shiwen easily avoided his sword aura. He immediately became dignified. Yi Shiwen is not a weakling. At least he is fast enough. It seems he has escaped from Yi Hong's attack with his agile speed previously. This isn't surprising, but it was just speed. Chai Jiaming didn't think it would be a problem for him. I may not be proficient in speed, but it won't be a glaring weakness. After all, I have cultivated thus far. Chai Jiaming did not stop his offense. The second wave of the offense was delivered in an instant. The terrifying sword light once again swept like a hurricane, forming a storm-like sword light, which instantly swept towards Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen still tapped his feet on the ground a little, avoiding the storm-like sword light, as if he was teasing a child. He didn't make any moves, giving Chai Jiaming a chance to show off however he liked. Chai Jiaming flushed with anger. Yi Shiwen was just a transcendent realm 3rd level, but he had no way to take down Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen was not an average Joe. Otherwise, things would not be the case. At this time, he regretted it slightly. He shouldn't be instigated by Chai Jianbin and provoke Yi Shiwen. Since Yao Qian recognized Yi Shiwen and gave him a seat at the main seat area, how would he be a simpleton? Unfortunately, it was too late to realize it now. No matter how powerful Yi Ziwen's movement technique is, I just have to kill him. Boom! The spot where Yi Shiwen was previously, I was blasted into a large pit. When the previous groups of people fought against each other, they could not damage the venue on a large scale, even though the battle was fierce. But among the two of them, only Chai Jiaming was making moves. Yet, damages to the arena were apparent. It was conceivable that the caliber of such a fight was definitely beyond the crowd's imagination. When Yi Shiwen had just stabled his footing, Chai Jiaming had come in pursuit again like a mad dog. The offense was storm-like, without any pauses. The long sword in his hand occupied the sky with sword light. He enveloped Yi Shiwen in it to cut off the opponent's forward and backward routes. This was to force Yi Shiwen to take action. At this time, Yi Shiwen was finally unable to retreat. After all, this venue was only that big, not a completely open venue. Among the experts present, they were all top experts of the younger generation. They could easily complete an attack with extensive coverage. So, the movement technique had a minimal effect at this time. This was the reason why Chai Jiaming was still confident after realizing that Yi Ziwen's movement technique was superior. No matter how good the movement technique was, it would become totally useless when there was no way to dodge it. Yi Shiwen incarnated a fireball in his hand. This ball of flame was boiling, forming a long saber eventually. Shwa! Yi Shiwen slashed with his fiery long saber, sending out an overwhelming fiery saber light to the sky. Boom! The sword light and saber light clashed with each other fiercely in the sky. The terrifying power of both sides swallowed everything wildly in midair and then twisted together. It formed a massive shock wave, which swept toward both sides. Yi Ziwen's move immediately changed countless people's opinion of him. All the experts spectating recognized what had happened. As soon as Yi Shiwen moved, they immediately noticed Yi Ziwen's horror, which was more shocking than Chai Jiaming. Especially Yao Qian on the Qi side was also slightly moved. Compared to the time when Yi Shiwen was in Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion, his fiery saber technique matured a lot, escalating the output further. This was not because of the improvement in strength. He had grasped the essence of this saber technique that was just sold 3 years ago. She couldn't imagine that someone could have mastered a technique to this level in such a short period. She absolutely couldn't imagine it happening. Despite the technique at intermediate human level, it was still a technique that had entered the ranks. It is impossible to imagine that Yi Shiwen has such strength. I saw him just dodging constantly. I thought he is only proficient in movement technique, but now that I look at it, he is more than proficient in movement technique. Look at this saber technique. I am afraid he is even stronger than Chai Jiaming. Yeah, I have never seen a saber technique of this level among the younger generation. No one can contend with him. Yi Ziwen's move instantly made the spectators quiet. After a while, it was as if reaching the boiling point, and the crowd was cheering. Chai Jianbin saw that Chai Jiaming was unable to take Yi Shiwen down. His face became ugly immediately, especially at this time when he finally saw Yi Shiwen making a move. He suddenly understood that Yao Qian allowed Yi Shiwen to sit in the main seat for a reason. This had nothing to do with by Hanmo. I'm afraid he isn't any simpleton. But no matter what, we have deep grudges already. Killing him is our only way out. A person like him should perish. At this time, Yi Hong squinted his eyes and looked at Yi Shiwen with a fierce gaze. Previously, he was a little surprised how Yi Shiwen could kill Yi Ying. Anyway, Yi Ying was in the Transcendent Realm 5th level peak. He was also the top expert. Even Yao Qian would be unable to kill Yi Ying, let alone this unknown petty man. But when Yi Shiwen beheaded Yi Ying, more than one person saw it. Scarlet Thunder Immortal was a strong proof that Yi Shiwen killed his clan member, which forced him to believe that it was true. At this moment, Yi Shiwen showed extraordinary strength as he made his move. It was very likely that this human killed Yi Ying. Thinking of this, the killing intent in Yi Hong's eyes was entirely beyond control. Chapter 903. Chapter 903. Hurting someone intentionally? Bai Hanhai shared the same gloomy face. At this time, he finally remembered what Bai Hanmo had said in the inn. Even if he didn't make a move, Yi Shiwen would. He did not take this sentence seriously. After all, he hadn't seen Yi Shiwen making a move, so he didn't consider Yi Shiwen a terrifying threat. But since Yi Shiwen exposed his capabilities this time, he was shocked immediately. He rejoiced secretly in his heart. If he hadn't held back in the inn at that time, he would not necessarily be the opponent of the other two. But without waiting for everyone to continue to be astonished, Chai Jiaming's real offense had arrived. The initial Sword Light's attack was just a preliminary attack. The real offense was the attack that Chai Jiaming followed up immediately. Driven by his qi, his long sword kept emitting clangs, emitting a terrifying sword aura. A long sword aura was summoned in the sky, and slashed toward the opponent. Most importantly, if the previous sword light looked like a storm, then the current sword light was sent out like a tsunami. Concentrating all the scattered power to one point, the destructive power was a little bit stronger than just now. He had decided to claim victory in this move. Die already! Chai Jiaming's eyes were bloodshot. The chilly sword light in his hand grew in intensity. Under his sneer, the heavy sword momentum made the spectators breathless. With the addition of the sword momentum, the offense became even more terrifying. It firmly locked onto Yi Shiwen, making him unable to escape at all. In the face of such a terrifying sword momentum, Yi Shiwen did not have the slightest fear. The long saber in his hand burnt intensely. The strong wind blowing under the oncoming sword made the flame on the fiery long saber sway constantly. It appeared as if the flame would be extinguished at any time. When that hefty sword momentum approached, Yi Shiwen finally moved. He wielded the long saber and delivered monstrous fire waves, spreading out instantly. Everyone in the venue felt all the surrounding water vapor diminished. The environment became abnormally dry and hot as well. No one could hide their surprise right now. What happened in the Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion was repeated. Monstrous heat waves with a scorching sensation and absence of water shocked even Ying. On sunny Bamboo Island, the most abundant was water vapor. Fire-attributed martial techniques would be suppressed, but Yi Shiwen could actually send out such a terrifying fire wave. There was no way the onlookers would not be surprised. Shua! Yi Shiwen rushed up in an instant. With his long saber dragging along the floor, he delivered a slash, severing a crack in the air to face the astonishing sword momentum that was approaching. It was as if the sky was torn apart. Despite the space had yet to be split apart, it was still a spectacular scene. Boom! The sword momentum and fiery saber aura suddenly collided. It came a shocking explosion. Yi Zaiwen's fiery saber aura tore the sword momentum that seemed unmatched initially. It could not even hold out for a moment like a hot knife cutting through the butter. After slashing off the sword momentum, Yi Zaiwen's fiery saber aura was cast unabated and directly fell on Chai Jiaming, who was too late to escape. In other words, Chai Jiaming never thought that the situation would become like this. He felt that this blow was definitely enough to eliminate Yi Shiwen. His strength at Transcendent Realm 5th level was not superficial. He even believed that even if he had a chance to compete for a space on the top 100 list, he underestimated Yi Shiwen, thinking that his only reliance was his connection with Yao Qian. Although it was adequate to be a way to do things, it was not something to be depended on. But now, after Yi Shiwen punned an effort, Chai Jiaming realized how ridiculous he really was. He originally thought that he was the advantageous side, possibly to reveal Yi Zaiwen's weak nature. In the end, the situation was completely reversed. Contrary to his belief, he was the weaker one instead. In the face of Yi Shiwen, Chai Jiaming was vulnerable, utterly outmatched. Could this be the real strength of those on the top 100 list? Am not reconciled. Chai Jiaming's eyes were filled with helplessness, but it was too late. The fiery saber aura had fallen on him. Bang! Chai Jiaming's body flew out directly. A mouthful of blood spurted out. His figure hit the barrier on the side, and then he slowly slipped to the floor. Blood streamed from the corners of his mouth endlessly. The critical hit was not his body, but a psychological trauma. He had never thought that his strength had such a wide gap in comparison to Yi Shiwen. His life was so vulnerable in Yi Zaiwen's hands. This blow completely shattered all his confidence. Shattering a warrior's psyche was more terrifying than any serious injury. I've said it. I'm only giving you one chance, but unfortunately you didn't grab it. Yi Shiwen commented lightly, without paying attention to Chai Jiaming's despair. A cool breeze went by. Everyone suddenly felt chills crept on their backs, especially those who were originally dissatisfied with why Yi Shiwen was able to sit in the main seat area. At this moment, they put out their dissatisfaction entirely. What a joke! Yi Shiwen is simply a war god, capable of being enlisted in top 100. No ordinary warriors can beat him. The scene fell into silence. Only by Hanmo was cheering excitedly, as if he was the winner. In the main seat area, there were also a few malicious gazes on Yi Shiwen. They were as sharp as a saber. The gazes were from Bai Hanhai, Yi Hong, Scarlet Thunder Immortal, and others. At this time, they all wanted Yi Shiwen to die. Brat, don't be too arrogant. You have offended our Chai family. I can make sure you won't get out of Sunny Bamboo Island in one piece. Chai Jinbin stood up and said coldly, looking at Yi Shiwen coldly with his eyes. Young Master Chai, stay put. Brother Yi is a guest of my Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce. Are you going to make my Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce a laughingstock? Said Yao Qian faintly. Although the Chai family had considerable power on Sunny Bamboo Island, Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce was not afraid to confront them at all. After all, the Chai family were possibly weaker than the Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce. Yi Shiwen was the Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce's guest. She invited him to participate in the young experts gathering. If someone was chased and killed because of hurting a person, who would dare to participate in her gathering in the future? Accidents broke out in duels. It was nothing that could be completely prevented. So no matter what the situation became, Yao Qian must protect Yi Shiwen. He heard jamming. Don't you see it? This damn bastard, said Chai Jinbin coldly. Injuries are bound to happen. It is inevitable that one will get hurt during the competition. As a warrior, don't you even have this awareness? Yao Qian was determined to protect Yi Shiwen to the end. He heard Chai jamming intentionally. He could have stopped, retorted Chai Jinbin furiously. I will never let him go. Hearing his words, the brows of many warriors on the scene suddenly frowned. It was too overbearing. Injuries were bound to happen in fights. That was pretty normal too. Especially in that situation, the warriors thought it was absolutely impossible for them to stop after exchanging blows if they were put in the same situation. After all, once they stopped, they might die. In this kind of situation, no one would be soft-hearted. The Chai family just got to complain despite the fact. So, are we not allowed to hurt the Chai family's warriors? This is too overbearing. At this moment, the crowd inevitably shifted their support on Yi Shiwen. Young Master Chai, Yao Qian frowned slightly, and her pretty face was frosty. Chai Jinbin was deliberately causing troubles. Although many warriors would not go all out in fights, those fighting would inevitably be injured. No one can guarantee that they would not be hurt. What's more, everyone saw Chai Jiaming's fanatic gaze just now. If Yi Shiwen was not strong enough, he might even get killed on the spot, let alone injuries. Therefore, in the crowd's opinion, including Yao Qian, this Chai Jinbin was just stirring up troubles and bent the facts to his favor. Just as she was about to speak, there was a clear voice, interrupting her. I'm hurting him deliberately? Chai Jinbin, I challenge you in a fight, was. The owner of this voice was none other than Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen was cold as the frost, staring at Chai Jinbin. His gaze would pierce one's soul, challenging Chai Jinbin's guts. Everyone's eyes turned to Chai Jinbin, eager to see how he would respond to Yi Shiwen. Chai Jinbin naturally understood Yi Ziwen's intent to challenge him. It was just like Chai Jiaming's challenge just now. The purpose was plain simple, which was to cut off all the possibilities of him rejecting it. This also illustrated that Yi Shiwen had absolute confidence in himself. In other words, he considered Chai Jinbin's death to be imminent. Thinking of this, Chai Jiaming broke into rage. Recalling Chai Jiaming had suffered terribly, he couldn't help it all of a sudden. Why not? It seems you have a death wish. Let me fulfill it for you. He noticed the enmity Yi Shiwen had with the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan. He originally planned to stir up conflicts between the two sides, but he did not expect the conflict would start from him first. Since it was impossible for him to incite the conflict between the two sides first, he had to attend to it in person. Chapter 904. Chapter 904. Completely suppressed. Why don't I dare? Since you have a death wish, then I will fulfill it for you. As soon as the voice could be heard, Chai Jinbin had already arrived at the arena. He could not wait to dismember Yi Shiwen due to the boiling anger in his heart. The long sword in his hand was wielded instantly, bursting with a horrifying sword light. He slashed towards Yi Shiwen without even uttering a word. It was a direct attack, albeit having the suspicion of an ambush. Since they both were already pumped up, they would not care less. His sword technique was the same as Chai Jianming, but it had undergone earth-shaking changes in Chai Jianbin's hands. Chai Jianbin's strength was superior to Chai Jianming, entering the Transcendent Realm's 6th level. It was different from what Yi Shiwen learned from Yao Qian. In other words, Chai Jianbin had hidden his strength. The top 100 list is unreliable. Those enlisted previously must have improved a lot. If it weren't for Yi Shiwen, he would probably continue to hide his strength. After all, he was striving for an opportunity to be outstanding in the top 100 competition. However, he did not bother hiding strength anymore after being blinded with rage. Only by dismembering Yi Shiwen could he douse his anger. As soon as the long sword unsheathed, the sky and the ground were occupied with sword light, covering the entire sky in an instant. Among the innumerable sword lights, a sword light broke through the sky. Countless sword lights spun frantically around this particular sword light, forming a sword glow vortex. Boom! This sword light blasted down unscrupulously. The same sword technique portrayed an unprecedented power in Chai Jianbin's hands. Brad, I didn't intend to expose my strength, but you're pushing me too much. If you need someone to blame, blame yourself, uttered Chai Jianbin grimly. I don't intend to let others find out about my true strength. But, since it is exposed, I must kill him. A Transcendent Realm's 6th level's warrior would be able to exert any martial art technique to a power beyond imagination. Yi Shiwen had no way to match with this. He was only at Transcendent Realm 3rd level. Strictly speaking, he was only Transcendent Realm Initial, while Chai Jianbin was already Transcendent Realm Intermediate, which was fundamentally different. Chai Jianbin's offenses were like a tide. The onslaught of sword aura would drown a person. Yi Ziwen's clothes were flapping. Yi Shiwen set ablaze a fireball in his hand immediately, which morphed into a long saber. The fiery long saber had its flame soared to the sky, as if it could burn to the heavens. I shall shatter your offense. The long saber in Yi Ziwen's hand slashed straight down, slamming into the sword vortex that swept towards him. Boom! The two terrifying powers slammed into each other heavily. The terrible impact turned into a shockwave and swept out in circles. Yi Shiwen raised a ball of flame in his hand, turning it into a fiery saber aura, and slashed horizontally. He was wholly shielded by the flame. Those sword auras swooped down, but they couldn't break through Yi Ziwen's fiery saber aura's defense. It might be difficult to block against the dense sword aura, but Yi Shiwen found it not a problem at all. After a while, the sword aura, occupying the sky, disappeared without a trace. Yi Shiwen said coldly, "Saves your petty trick. You should show me something new." Chai Jianbin was a little stunned. Unexpectedly, he could not win against Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen had mastered his sword technique to be excellent in both offense and defense. Generally speaking, saber technique and sword technique were inclined toward offensive capability, except for the minority of them with good defense. However, Yi Ziwen's saber technique was apparently an offensive technique. However, this saber technique was capable in both defense and offense in Yi Ziwen's hands. He must have grasped the essence of this technique to attain such an effect. Since you can't anymore, then it is my turn. Yi Ziwen's figure suddenly leaped forward, slashing out his long saber. There was nothing fancy with it, but just a very ordinary slash. However, the slash with massive power appeared unchallenged. Dang! Chai Jianbin didn't expect Yi Shiwen to counterattack suddenly. He only had time to block it with his long sword. However, a huge metal clank was heard. Two terrifying forces smashed together and swept away. Under the impact of this terrifying force, Chai Jianbin took a few steps back and lost his footing. His face changed drastically. He didn't expect Yi Ziwen's power to be so terrifying. Is he a monster in human skin? Chai Jianbin's arms were slightly numb, but Yi Zaiwen's offense did not end. Instead, he took advantage of his momentum and continued the onslaught. Since there were no complicated moves, Yi Zaiwen's offense was like a wave with almost no time interval in between. He was purely suppressing the opponent with power, nothing complicated, but just constant bombardment with violent power. Boom! 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 Everyone saw that Chai Jianbin was constantly retreating under Yi Zaiwen's violent attacks. It appeared Chai Jianbin had no way but to resist continuously. Yi Shiwen was not only powerful, but also extremely fast. The onslaught had almost no gaps. In the martial arts view, being fast is invulnerable. With both speed and strength, even ordinary moves could exert terrifying power, just like the unbeaten embroidery needles of Dongfeng Bubi 1. Oh my god, is this the Chai Jianbin we know? He has fallen into a complete disadvantage. I thought that Chai Jianbin at Transcendent Realm 6th level could easily defeat Yi Shiwen, but I didn't expect that it would arrive at such a scene. This is simply beyond imagination. Is Chai Jianbin not Yi Zaiwen's opponent? Even if Yi Shiwen is a dark horse, it is too exaggerated, right? Many spectators couldn't believe it. What made them most baffled was Yi Zaiwen's physical body. It had reached a terrifying level both in terms of speed and physical strength. He had exerted an incredibly terrifying power with simple moves. Is it really over? The only question left in everyone's mind was this. Is it really going to end like this? 1. https://en. Wikipedia. org/wiki/dongfeng_bubi. Chapter 905. Chapter 905. This is more like deliberately injuring someone. What a terrifying physique. Yao Qian's expression changed slightly as she watched the battle. This was the so-called extraordinary talent. Yi Shiwen was way better than ordinary people. Under Yi Zaiwen's storm-like onslaught, Chai Jianbin could only retreat continuously. There was no room to fight back. Damn it! Chai Jianbin kept cursing. Yi Zaiwen's speed was too fast, but he didn't dare to ignore the attack. Those who watched the battle couldn't understand the horror of Yi Zaiwen's power. If he didn't block them, he would be killed on the spot. He never thought that one day he was powerless in front of simple attacks. The initially simple moves had such might after being exerted to the extreme. In this aspect, he was far inferior to Yi Shiwen. When Yi Shiwen had just attained cultivation, his mastery in this aspect allowed him to use simple moves and completely crush his opponent. Of course, what Yi Shiwen could do was not something that ordinary people could achieve. Asshole! Chai Jianbin yelled violently. He swung his sword and parried the oncoming saber aura from Yi Shiwen. His arms were a little numb. Yi Zaiwen's terrifying power was fully manifested at this time. If Chai Jianbin did not have much higher cultivation than Yi Shiwen, he would be killed on the spot. The long sword in his hand began to buzz. Endless sword light boiled from it. Another circle of energy rippled from the sword. A vicious beast phantom roared, echoing in all directions. Some of the people watching stood up startled. Is this the beast soul sword? A well-informed person recognized the origin of this sword. They said that Chai Jianbin got a sacrificial refined method to create a beast soul sword. I thought it was just nonsense. It turns out to be true. Gasp, a sacrificial refined method that forcefully refines the beast soul into a sword spirit and imbues it into the sword body. Yes, that's right. I thought it was just a legend. No one has seen it, and this method has long been lost on a large scale. At least on the surface, there are not many people or forces who know this method. Most importantly, this method wasn't entirely useful. The power that could be exerted depended entirely on the power of the captured soul. If it was only a mediocre soul, there was no point in having it. To capture a powerful, vicious beast and refine it into sword spirit, the cost of capturing alone far exceeded the refinement process. There were very few people except for those powerful forces who would be able to utilize it. Eventually, this method was slowly lost. Yi Shiwen instantly felt the immense pressure on this vicious beast phantom. The spectator's exclamation sounded in his ears. He immediately learned the existence of the sacrificial refinement method to forge the beast soul sword. Yi Shiwen had never encountered it before. The weaponry with similar nature that he faced in the past was Emergent's immortal exterminating saber. The Holy Realm dwellers forcibly refined the souls into the saber in a vile manner. Although this method was vicious, it had a very significant effect on improving the martial instrument. Die! Chai Jianbin yelled coldly. His face was already ugly. Yi Shiwen had pushed him to a dead end. Not only was his true strength exposed, but also his trump card initially intended to be used in the top 100 competition was also used in advance at this moment. Although the warrior was not a divine fighter with invincibility toward a repeated technique, the effect would undoubtedly worsen after getting prepared. It was just like Yi Shiwen keeping his trump cards hidden. He would not consider it unless it was at the most critical time. At this moment, Chai Jianbin was forced to expose his beast soul sword. He was in a desperate spot. Chai Jianbin sent out a glittering sword light in midair. Accompanied with a vicious beast roar, the sword light instantly pounced toward Yi Shiwen. When the terrifying beast darted, the entire sky was trembling crazily, as if a giant vicious beast was charging. When his foot was in the air, a terrible shock wave spread out across the sky. His roar shook the battlefield. Everyone was shocked by this vicious beast. It was a ferocious beast being locked up for many years. Once it was liberated, it went all out, boiling with anger. Its intent to vent his rage to the entire world made the spectators frightened. This vicious beast is too horrible. I'm afraid no one can stop it, someone said with a pale face. This was the terrifying power of the experts on the top 100 list. Although many people might not care about the top 100 list's honor, their disdain only came from their capability. On the other hand, not many had such qualifications, let alone disdaining the list. In their forces, they might also be a genius-level figure. As compared with the people on these top 100 lists, there was still a considerable gap. This battle had the nature of the top 100 list. Those who could enter the top 100 list had unique skills and lost technique as their trump card. They did not expect that it would be so terrifying. Yi Shiwen could feel the fishy breath brought by the opening of the bloody mouth, which was truly terrifying. Yao Qian looked at Yi Shiwen in the arena, wondering if he would summon the phantom of the giant beast she had seen last time. Although she didn't know how Yi Shiwen was so superb, she knew that his vicious beast phantom could last for a while. With that, she knew it should be one of Yi Ziwen's trump cards. Although Chai Jianbin's trump card, Beast Soul Sword, was robust, she did not know whether it could contend with Yi Ziwen's giant beast phantom. After all, Yi Ziwen's current realm was too low. If they were both in the same realm, she definitely wouldn't think so. Yi Shiwen crushed his opponent overwhelmingly if on the same realm. Facing the unknown vicious beast that swooped over, Yi Shiwen didn't blink his eyes, letting his clothes flap in the wind. The fiery saber aura on his right hand was continually being suppressed like weeds in the strong wind, but no one noticed that the flame on the fiery saber aura had changed a little. It was vaguely mixed with some purple flame in it. Suddenly, Yi Shiwen moved like a launched cannonball and rushed out. The vicious beast reacted exceptionally quickly, planning to swallow Yi Shiwen in one bite. Seeing that Yi Shiwen could not resist and was almost swallowed by this vicious beast, more people stood up from their seats in surprise, watching the startling scene in front of them. If the scene appeared at the beginning, everyone would not have such a big reaction. After all, in everyone's memory, Yi Shiwen was not Chai Jianbin's opponent. But the situation had changed. Chai Jianbin was at a complete disadvantage under Yi Ziwen's storm-like onslaught previously. Yi Shiwen attacked in simple moves too. Therefore, many people were more inclined toward Yi Shiwen being the final victor. Almost no one thought that Chai Jianbin could win. Optimistically speaking, they thought he would end up in a tie. But after Chai Jianbin displayed his trump card, would Yi Shiwen get swallowed into nothingness instantly? What happening here? In everyone's imagination, Yi Shiwen should be roaming around, looking for opportunities to destroy this beast soul. Unexpectedly, he was swallowed at once. Everyone's eyes widened, looking at the vicious beast in the middle of the arena. They were trying to determine whether Yi Shiwen was dead. They believed that Chai Jianben would never let Yi Shiwen go when he had even the slightest chance. Ha ha ha! Chai Jianben laughed loudly as if all his depression had been relieved at once. Suddenly, his face changed drastically, but he saw the vicious beast phantom suddenly begin to scream in agony. A flame burned through its back and rose straight to the sky. The flame quickly spread from its back to its whole body. In the raging fire, this vicious beast kept rolling and screaming. How is this possible? Chai Jianben couldn't believe it because his beast soul was not a physical entity, and it was an impressive vicious beast too. Ordinary flames couldn't ignite it. Amidst that flame, a figure jumped out of it with an incredible saber momentum. He directly descended from the sky and slashed toward Chai Jianben. Boom! Although Chai Jianben blocked the saber with his sword, he could not diminish the heavy impact. His body flew out directly. A ghostly figure chased up and slashed again with a saber. Saber fell fiercely from the top. Boom! Chai Jianben was severely slashed in an instant, shattering all his defenses. He instantly slammed to the ground, smashing a large pit directly at the arena. Puff! Chai Jianben in the pit finally couldn't help but spit a mouthful of blood. Yi Zaiwen's saber injured him fatally. Intentional injury? This is more like deliberately injuring someone. Yi Shiwen stood beside Chai Jianben, said lightly. Chapter 906. Chapter 906. It's not that he is too weak, but Yi Shiwen is too strong at this time. Everyone understood why Yi Shiwen pushed Chai Jianben for the duel previously. Apparently, he is waiting for his opportunity here. Isn't Chai Jianben claiming Yi Shiwen deliberately hurting Chai Jianming? At this moment, Yi Shiwen told him with hard facts what was meant by deliberately injuring someone else, rendering the opponent no chance to fight back. This was Yi Zaiwen's style. He wouldn't talk nonsense, but settle it in a real fight. Hearing Yi Zaiwen's words, Chai Jianben, who was already severely injured, spewed out a mouthful of blood. He was extremely depressed. Although the injury was serious, it was not a big deal in general. He could still be recovered. However, there was no way to avoid this psychological trauma. It's impossible, Chai Jianben said in disbelief. Not only because Yi Shiwen defeated him, but also because Yi Shiwen actually burned the beast soul in his beast soul sword to a pile of ashes. His beast soul had gone through thousands of tempers and various secret techniques. His trump could even severely injure a Transcendent Realm 7th level warrior. But he didn't expect Yi Shiwen to burn it all into ashes. The beast soul sword was ruined. All his efforts were gone in Yi Zaiwen's hands. Yi Shiwen didn't even look at him. The fire he set aflame would naturally not be an ordinary flame. If it were just an ordinary flame, it would be difficult to cause any harm on that vicious beast soul. So, he directly released the mutated flame that he had conquered some time ago. Although it was only a little bit, it directly burned the entire vicious beast soul to ashes. This was also the first time Yi Shiwen using it after conquering the mutated flame. The flame had such a terrifying power which was beyond his expectation. He was already prepared for it. If the mutated flame could not defeat the vicious beast, he naturally had other ways. Although Chai Jianben's technique was great, it was not impossible for Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen returned to his seat under everyone's shocked eyes. Bai Hanmo on the side shouted excitedly, "Good job, give this guy a lesson, see if he dares to be arrogant." Facing Yi Zaiwen's final victory, everyone looked at each other and didn't know what to say. This result was in their expectations, but beyond their expectations at the same time. Originally, in their opinion, Yi Zaiwen's victory was inevitable with the strong physique displayed. However, after Chai Jianben revealing the beast soul, he was still defeated by Yi Shiwen. This was the part that was harder to accept. On the platform, Yao Qin glanced at Chai Jianben, who was completely immobile, and said, "Yi Shiwen wins." As for the two brothers Chai Jianben and Chai Jiaming, There was naturally a staff who took them down to rest. Although accidents were bound to happen, they would rarely be anyone dealing a critical blow during a duel. The previous duel ended with the victor becoming more apparent. Even if some lost control and injured the opponent, the cases were in limited numbers. After all, there was no feud. They would not go all out. But whether it was Yi Shiwen and Chai Jianming or Yi Shiwen and Chai Jianben, the duels were like a life-and-death battle. They were merciless when they fought, pushing each other trump cards to be revealed. An abnormal fight to the death. Not only Chai Jianben's Beast Soul Sword and hidden strength surprised everyone, but Yi Zaiwen's mutated flame, which could burn the beast's soul, also attracted the attention of many people. In fact, this was not an ordinary thing. Although spirit was the most fragile, it was under ordinary circumstances. The beast's soul in this beast soul sword had been tempered countless times. It was hard to get injured, let alone being burned. This had also made many people curious about Yi Zaiwen's flame. What kind of flame is it? It can have such a terrifying power. Only Yao Qian, Qi Dong, and Scarlet Thunder Immortal felt that the purple flame was a little familiar. They never thought that this was the flame that encircled the entire Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion that day. But it was just a bit familiar to their eyes. They could not connect to terrifying Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion flame. Not only did Yi Shiwen survive the burn, but he actually subdued the mutated flame, which was absolutely unimaginable. Yi Shiwen won swiftly and neatly with no sloppiness to it. Therefore, no one could have a say about it. He just won dignifiedly in a plain, simple manner. Because of this, it also shocked many experts who were eager. At this time, they did not dare to step forward, so Yi Shiwen returned to his seat directly. Those who dared to challenge him were those in the main seat area. In particular, Scarlet Thunder Immortal had chills crept upon her pretty face. Her helplessness was apparent. Yi Zaiwen's progress was beyond her expectations. When she saw Yi Shiwen for the first time, she just felt that Yi Shiwen was not a simpleton. It did not go beyond that. Yi Shiwen had the impression of excellent physical cultivation. When she met Yi Shiwen the second time, she fled in embarrassment. If she did not flee fast enough, she would lose her life in Yi Zaiwen's hands. The third time, when she had escalated in her cultivation, she thought she could definitely deal with Yi Shiwen. But she saw an even more horrifying scene. Yi Ying, who was even more powerful than her, died tragically in Yi Zaiwen's hands. For the fourth time, right now, she almost gave up the hope of revenging personally. Everyone knew that no matter one performed well till the gathering's end, Yi Shiwen would still outshine them. He was probably strong enough to enter the rank of the top 100 list. It's another expert in the top 100 list. In the past, many people looked down on Bai Hamo because of Yi Shiwen sitting next to Bai Hamo. After all, birds of a feather flock together. After witnessing Yi Zaiwen's horrifying combat, they deemed Bai Hamo superior for the same reason too. Yi Shiwen amazed the crowd with a single brilliant feat. At the moment, he stopped staying low profile. As the dark horse, Yi Shiwen stopped his participation. The gathering went on normally. Many young experts also took advantage of this opportunity to display themselves. If they could perform well, they would soon be famous in this sea region and lay a prestigious name. However, with the previous two battles between Yi Shiwen and Chai Jianming and Chai Jianben, the subsequent battles were undoubtedly much more boring for everyone. Both the intensity and the excitement were far inferior to these two battles. But everyone still fought eagerly. Firstly, despite these battles being much worse than Yi Zaiwen's battle, there were still many gains for them. Secondly, except for Kai Jianming, Kai Jianben, and Yi Shiwen, weren't there still many warriors on the main seats who had not participated in any duels yet? Everyone was looking forward to seeing more exciting battles. A dozen duels had passed. At this time, Bai Hanhai went straight off into the arena. He was forced to admit defeat in front of Bai Hamo and Yi Shiwen just now. Many people secretly laughed, thinking that he was a prodigal child. But when he fought, many people stared with their eyes wide open. His first opponent was a young, Transcendent Realm 3rd level expert. Among these young experts, he was considered outstanding, but in front of him, he was not an opponent at all. With just one attack, this opponent was sent off in a distance. The second opponent was a Transcendent Realm 4th level expert. When everyone thought there would be a bitter fight, he was defeated in one move. The third opponent was at Transcendent Realm 4th level peak, only a little short of being able to enter the Transcendent Realm 5th level. Except for a few people in the main seat, he was considered the top ones. Yet, he could not sustain one move from Baihan Hai. 3 people in a row were defeated by him in one move. This made everyone understand that this kid, in an embarrassed state previously, was another ruthless character. However, he actually suffered in Baihan Mo's hand. For the spectators, it was shocking. In comparison, Baihan Mo's strength was even more terrifying. They had already witnessed Yi Zaiwen's strength. Although Baihan Mo did not make a move, Baihan Hai gave a hint or two. One dark horse after another. How dark horses are there this year? Many people might not even see so many dark horses in their entire lives. They were extraordinary, all wild cards, possibly standing at the summit. Everyone finally understood that it was probably not that Chai Jianben was weak, but Yi Shiwen was too strong, so he was defeated by Yi Shiwen. At the same time, the crowd was faintly excited. There were so many underdogs on this sunny bamboo island. What about other places? Obviously, the competition for the top 100 this time was much more intense than ever. Baihan Hai noticed that one dared to challenge him with the crowd being silent. He returned to his position triumphantly. Baihan Mo and Yi Shiwen embarrassed him terribly. Only now could he finally feel a sense of exuberance, relieving his grief. Chapter 907. Chapter 907. Fight of Two Beauty. After Baihan Hai, the experts on the main seat all took turns to emerge. They all trounced their opponents like Baihan Hai. What happened made everyone understand the gap between them and the top 100. It was more than just a bit. Even Scarlet Thunder Immortal, the weakest among them, defeated her opponent with a huge advantage. They might be famous geniuses elsewhere. However, they were reduced to spectators, watching the few people above the main seat, blooming with their incomparable brilliant light. After everyone in the main seat took a shot, Yao Qian finally couldn't help but emerge. Her opponent was a Transcendent Realm 5th level expert with some strength kept hidden. However, in front of Yao Qian, the warrior couldn't sustain a few moves before being overwhelmingly defeated. Although this was Yao Qian's first duel, it was a good reminder enough for everyone to realize that Yao Qian's strength was still unfathomable. Sister Yao, the elder sister would like to get some pointers from you? At this time, Scarlet Thunder Immortal finally made a move. She daringly challenged Yao Qian. Everyone became excited at once. Yao Qian and Scarlet Thunder Immortal were both famous muses of Sunny Bamboo Island. Both had many supporters on Sunny Bamboo Island. There had been countless conflicts to contest for the #1 beauty of Sunny Bamboo Island. However, different people had different preferences. Neither Yao Qian and Scarlet Thunder Immortal could overwhelm the other side. In terms of cultivation strength, Yao Qian had steadily suppressed Scarlet Thunder Immortal slightly. However, Scarlet Thunder Immortal was never thrown behind by Yao Qian. Both sides seemed to get in a huff. Once one side improved, the other definitely would improve soon. Therefore, there was no conclusion on the actual strength between the two muses. Scarlet Thunder Immortal was much stronger than in the past. Naturally, she wanted to take this opportunity to seek justice and honor for herself. Scarlet Thunder Immortal looked at Yao Qian with a somewhat provocative look. Yao Qian just smiled at her and said, "Sure." With that said, her figure stepped on thin air, creating ripples. Then, she descended straight into the arena. Scarlet Thunder Immortal immediately dashed toward the arena without any hesitation. She summoned thunder and bombarded Yao Qian. That shocking thunder directly pierced the vast sky and bombarded Yao Qian. Yet, Yao Qian was still unfazed. Although this had the suspicion of a sneak attack, as Sunny Bamboo Island's twin beauties, they both had an understanding of each other. Yao Qian was not flustered in the face of her attack. Her fair palm extended forward. It was wrapped in a layer of silver-white plain glove. She caught the lightning on the spot. She had grasped the thunder capable of splitting the mountains without giving a sweat. Her action was unhindered like running clouds and flowing water. Immediately, Scarlet Thunder Immortal sent out another thunder coupled with a thunderous roar. It was already in front of Yao Qian in an instant. Taking advantage of the moment Yao Qian caught the lightning, she finally made a move. However, both were competitors for decades. This time, they had finally given it all. Yao Qian's reaction was not slow at all. She instantly squeezed her fingers into a fist and blasted out a punch. A terrifying aura that was uncontended accompanied the punch. Boom! The two fair fists crashed into each other in the air. A fist struck a palm heavily. Both terrifying forces crushed against each other. With the collision point as the center, a terrifying shock wave swept out in all directions. There was a sizzle followed by countless sparks, swept out in all directions. This clash completely changed the crowd's complexion, especially for many people who were not familiar with Scarlet Thunder Immortal and Yao Qian previously. The reason why they knew these two people was because they were unparalleled in beauty. If not, there were many female experts among the younger generation too. How could only the two of them be regarded as Sunny Bamboo Island's two muses? The primary reason was that these two people were far more beautiful than others. Many people even had only unparalleled beauty in their memory. However, this clash completely changed their view on the two muses. Not only were the muses' strength not weaker than them, but it was also even more powerful than them. They did not lose out to Bai Han Hai. Scarlet Thunder Immortal should be using the Garrison Lost technique of Scarlet Thunder Gang at advanced human level, Siberian Sacred Thunder Palm. It can evaporate an area of sea, turning it into a sea of thunder and lightning. The well-informed expert instantly recognized it was Scarlet Thunder Gang's famous martial art. The Scarlet Thunder Gang could gain a foothold on Sunny Bamboo Island because of this lost technique. Unexpectedly, Scarlet Thunder Immortal's first move is already the Siberian Sacred Thunder Palm. Sure enough, she is going all out. However, Muse Yao's Silk Cleaving Emperor Fist is not an inferior lost technique. This duel will be amazing. Scarlet Thunder Immortal once again stormed forward. She was so resentful to her old rival, who had defeated her for many years. The palms occupying the sky instantly turned into balls of thunder and lightning. They fell from the sky, shrouding Yao Qian entirely in it. Scarlet Thunder Immortal had reached a high level of grasp to the Siberian Sacred Thunder Palm. Having cultivated this technique since she was a child, coupled with her talent, she had reached a terrifying state. At this time, facing Scarlet Thunder Immortal's attack, Yao Qian just threw out her punches calmly. Every punch did not seem to have much power within, but the punch's aftermath would easily shatter the falling lightning. The sky full of thunder and lightning could not do anything to Yao Qian. Yao Qian's punches were like a protective barrier. The punch could be utilized well both offensively and defensively. Yao Qian was unrestrained in delivering her technique. If she hadn't entered the Transcendent Realm 6th level a year ago, this kind of attack would fluster her for a while. However, she had already entered the Transcendent Realm's 6th level. It was a massive leap from the past. The encirclement attacks coming from the Scarlet Thunder Immortal was overwhelming. Still, there were no panics in Yao Qian's eyes. She resolved the attacks calmly. But Scarlet Thunder Immortal didn't know that Yao Qian had already entered the Transcendent Realm 6th level a year ago. When she thought she had caught up with Yao Qian, she was left behind again. Everyone present felt that this was a close battle. Only Yi Shiwen knew that Yao Qian did not show her full strength yet. He knew that Yao Qian had entered the Transcendent Realm 6th level. It took place even a year ago. She probably had already entered the Transcendent Realm 6th level peak. This was not impossible. For a behemoth like Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce, countless resources were enough to boost her cultivation at a terrifying level in a short time. After breaking Scarlet Thunder Immortal's offense, Yao Qian quickly turned from defense to offense and shouted softly. "It's earth-shattering." There was a fundamental difference between her fist and the delicate appearance just now. Her fist pressure instantly suppressed the world. It felt completely different from the light and agile punching just now. She was taking the path of overcoming opponents with might. Scarlet Thunder Immortal was shocked. She quickly waved her hand to block the attack, setting up a sky full of thunder nets, and wrapped herself in it. The form changed instantly, and the two directly switched offense and defense. Both sides performed their lost technique. The immense battle had no victor. Everyone watched intensely. Some couldn't keep up with the fight between the two, especially when Scarlet Thunder Immortal's attacks were like flashes of lightning. Although Scarlet Thunder Immortal did not have the terrifying momentum of Yao Qian, her speed was undisputable. Each of her moves would collapse a large area of air. She controlled the rhythm firmly. Whether the attack was agile or powerful, it was in her control. The experts on the main seat also noticed that Scarlet Thunder Immortal was restrained in front of Yao Qian. Although Yao Qian did not show the power that surpassed the Transcendent Realm 5th level, she firmly suppressed Scarlet Thunder Immortal by only relying on her skills. Though it appeared that they were on the same level, Scarlet Thunder Immortal was already defeated. Especially that elegant man, Shi Hongru, saw this scene and sighed slightly. Scarlet Thunder Immortal was not Yao Qian's opponent. It was obvious at first sight both of them were not on the same level. There was probably a huge gap. Otherwise, Yao Qian should be a little embarrassed now. She would not be so firm and steady on her offense while at the same time having a right balance between offensive and defensive. Damn it! A trace of hatred flashed in Scarlet Thunder Immortal's eyes. How could she not feel what those people outside the arena realized? She lost her momentum to Yao Qian little by little. She found it hard to understand why Yao Qian crushed her overwhelmingly. It was clear that the strength of the two sides seemed to be the same. She didn't feel any overwhelming advantage from Yao Qian, but she couldn't get back the initiative. But she also knew that she couldn't go on like this. The fight absolutely shouldn't continue like this. She gave a soft yell. The clouds in the sky began to turn black in an instant. A majestic aura boiled within her body. Chapter 908. Chapter 908. An easy victory under her maneuver. The thunder and lightning between heaven and the earth were condensing towards the sky, forming multiple thunder dragons in the sky. A sea of thunder and lightning were manifested in the raging sky. It was a scene that trembled the spectator's heart. The roaring thunder dragons roared and rushed down directly. Instead of rushing to Yao Qian, they rushed straight to the Scarlet Thunder Immortal. Boom! Several thunder dragons fell directly on the Scarlet Thunder Immortal, entwining her body into a dragon-patterned thunder armor. The Scarlet Thunder Immortal gave a tender shout and instantly attacked Yao Qian swiftly like lightning. If she was only as fast as lightning just now, then she was the actual lightning now. The Scarlet Thunder Immortal was wrapped in a ball of lightning and instantly blasted towards Yao Qian. Her speed was so fast that most people couldn't see the Scarlet Thunder Immortal anymore, except for those in the main seat. Facing the Scarlet Thunder Immortal's onslaught, Yao Qian didn't panic. She raised her hand instantly. The clash was as though scripted. Her attack landed on the Scarlet Thunder Immortal directly. Bang! The Scarlet Thunder Immortals confronted Yao Qian's fist. Terrifying aura took a spherical shape, swept out in all directions. The sphere was entrained in lightning. It exploded in an instant. It's so terrifying. Is this the Scarlet Thunder Immortal's trump card? If that's the case, then it's terrifying. Some were frightened after watching this scene, as if they saw a terrifying monster. In front of this lightning power, it was like facing the heavenly retribution. But this attack only made Yao Qian retreat a few steps to regain her footings. The Scarlet Thunder Immortal's beautiful eyes widened, as if she hadn't expected it. Yao Qian's counterattack was even more swift and thunderous without a slight pause. She instantly darted toward the Scarlet Thunder Immortal. Boom! Yao Qian's fist hit the Scarlet Thunder Immortal's dragon-patterned thunder armor, but it did not affect her at all. Haha, you won't be able to deal with me. The Scarlet Thunder Immortal saw what had happened and laughed loudly. Seeing that Yao Qian could not harm her, all of her previous worries disappeared without a trace. Almost immediately, the dragon's roar came out from the dragon-patterned armor that was attacked. A thunder dragon roared and flew out to kill Yao Qian. Yao Qian tapped her toes to the ground faintly. Her figure fluttered out suddenly like a muse. However, she appeared more serious and less carefree right now. Her brows slightly frowned. At this time, unless she revealed that she had entered Transcendent Realm 6th level. Otherwise, it would be difficult to challenge the dragon-patterned armor on the Scarlet Thunder Immortal. That armor was simply a combination of offense and defense. Under the stimulation of thunder and lightning, the opponent's speed was breakneck. There was simply no weakness. Although she knew that Scarlet Thunder Immortal would not be able to maintain this state for a long time, she didn't want to develop the battle in that manner. In the distance, Yi Shiwen saw this scene. He immediately understood Yao Qian's thoughts. Transcendent Realm 6th level was her trump card. She didn't want to expose it in front of others. The Scarlet Thunder Immortal saw that Yao Qian could not harm her. She became excited and darted towards Yao Qian. Her attacks were impervious. She splashed the thunder and lightning power onto Yao Qian with her current speed advantage, completely enveloping the opponent. Today, I am going to defeat you. The Scarlet Thunder Immortal sneered. The chi on her body was surging. Having hopes of defeating Yao Qian made her excited. Bang! Yao Qian hindered the Scarlet Thunder Immortal's movements slightly. When the Scarlet Thunder Immortal was about to launch a further attack, Yao Qian moved. Silk-cleaving Emperor Fist. In an instant, countless chis were wrapped on her fist. These chis started to spin frantically on her fist. The horrifying fist was in a spiral state, and it spun at high speed. At this time, her fist was like a high-speed drill. She blasted it out with a terrifying light. Boom! Her fist struck the dragon-patterned armor clad on the Scarlet Thunder Immortal again. Previously, all her power was dispersed to the entire fist. For the dragon-patterned armor, there was no way to pose a real threat. But things had changed at this moment. All her strength now concentrated on the drilling point. It slammed on the dragon-patterned armor hard. In an instant, frenzy energy swept across. Two completely different forces slammed into each other. But Yao Qian's fist did not stop. It advanced with a terrifying speed. Asterisk crack, crack, crack. Asterisk on the dragon-patterned armor. The center on the spot where Yao Qian's drill struck had web cracks appeared instantaneously. The entire dragon-patterned armor was densely covered with these cracks. Bang! The entire dragon-patterned armor shattered in an instant. However, Yao Qian's speed did not decrease and directly hit the Scarlet Thunder Immortal's chest with a punch. Puff! The Scarlet Thunder Immortal spitted out blood. As if hit by a heavy blow, her body flew out directly. In her eyes, she couldn't believe that the dragon-patterned armor she was so proud of was overcome like this. She was clad entirely with dragon-patterned armor. There were no slightest openings to her body parts. The armor's only weakness was that the power was scattered around her body. Once a spot was overwhelmed, the other part's power would need to disperse and quickly support the overwhelmed area. Hence, there should not be the shortcoming of having her defense penetrated at a singular point. However, the premise of this statement was not to encounter a force that exceeded the limit of her armor itself. But this was what had exactly happened. Although Yao Qian showed only Transcendent Realm 5th level peak's power, she cleverly used her power in the drill pattern to directly penetrate the dragon-patterned armor. The Scarlet Thunder Immortal was helpless to it. She could only watch the dragon-patterned armor dispersed. She looked at Yao Qian with sore eyes, but there was no other way. She had thought about it for many years and researched it. For many years, her rank was behind Yao Qian. It was like a magical barrier. Usually, it was not a big deal. At the critical moment, it served as a hefty psychological barrier. This time, she finally seized the opportunity. Taking advantage of having the same realm, she could challenge Yao Qian and wipe out this long-standing psychological barrier in one fell swoop. She did not expect the result to turn out like this. At the same realm and with similar strength, she was defeated. Yao Qian was so strong that she was unresigned. Bitch, why do you want to crush me every time. Who do you think you are? Her gazes became more and more spiteful, as if she was looking at her nemesis. This person squashed her for hundreds of years. Her feelings were quite apparent. The terrifying part of her experience was having no hope of coming back. Maybe she didn't feel too intensely in the past. Her resentment was deeply engraved in her bones now. At this time, she didn't wait for Yao Qian to announce that she had won, so she stood up from the ground and walked out of the arena. She appeared a little sorry, but no one dared to laugh at her. Everyone had witnessed her strength just now. She was a powerhouse on the top 100 list. It could even be said that her strength was enough to eliminate everyone present except for those on the main seat. Even in many people's eyes, she had a glorious defeat because her opponent this time was Yao Qian. It was not that she was weak, but Yao Qian was too strong. No one knew whether Yao Qian had given it all. This was the most terrifying. Seeing the Scarlet Thunder Immortal leave, Yao Qian didn't stop her and didn't add any extra humiliation because she didn't need to at all. She was the winner. That was enough. The experts on the main seat looked at Yao Qian, clearly knowing that she was still hiding her best. It was unlike the spectators who only had slight suspicions. Those on the main seat were almost certain that Yao Qian must have hidden her strength. Otherwise, she would not be able to take down the Scarlet Thunder Immortal so easily. That was the precise reason that everyone did not dare to underestimate Yao Qian, the organizer. Even initially, they came to participate because of Yao Qian's reputation, but this time, it was more accurate to say that they were here to witness Yao Qian's brilliance. She had an unfathomable strength. It's amazing. Yi Shiwen admired secretly not on Yao Qian's strength, but her combat prowess. This was what he admired. One could cultivate their strength, but the combat prowess could not be improved through cultivation. In addition to thousands of experiences, it depended on talent. Like Yi Shiwen, he had trained up such intuition and instinct through thousands of experiences, including the times that required him to escape. But Yao Qian found a way to overcome the dragon-patterned armor almost immediately. If Yi Shiwen were to put in the same shoe, he would probably rely on sheer strength to overcome the armor. He advocated using the easiest way to solve everything. But this did not stop him from admiring Yao Qian's fighting wisdom. Of course, who is my sister Yao? That's my sister. Bai Hanmo heard Yi Ziwen's secret praise beside him. He laughed out loud and said with pride. No one knew whether he was complimenting Yao Qian, himself, or both. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.